Ron Weasley.
Ha! Another Weasley.
That's me. Only I'm head boy, and I'm holding the Quidditch cup. And bloody hell, I'm Quidditch captain too.
Do you ever stop eating?
Hey.
How are the volume levels? Is this loud enough? Should it be louder? What are the volumes like? Do I get a hell yeah? Could be louder, not bad. Louder, louder, louder. Louder, louder, louder. Is this louder or is that the same? Sound is okay, okay, we're okay with the sound now. Just don't start whispering. GME's volume's like GME's. Okay, people are saying that's good now. Dandy, loud enough now. Okay, excellent, so we're all loud enough. Louder 10%, says Tony. Can I do 10%? Where do I get my extra 10% at? Where do I squeeze that from? Is that any louder? A little bit louder there? Possibly a little bit louder? Maybe that's what we're looking for. That's about as loud as it's going to get, I think. I don't know if I can do anything else. That's all the buttons turned to max. And some of them turned off. Please play Perry Como. Papa loves Mambo. Papa loves Mambo. GME asking the same thing. Sounds good. Mic is good. It's good. Does it go to 111? It does. It's there right now. Better. Okay, excellent. Well, Tony knows his chat, so thank you very much. Great levels. It was a very much a synthetic 10% pulling. And there is a rock star in the chat keeping everybody up to date. Jamie spent all that extra time on his hair, then doesn't show his face on stream. I know, I'm so unreasonable. I was actually walking down the road here between when I was chatting earlier in the live chat and now, leaving Rocky's and coming here, and I walked past this old guy. He must have been about 90 years old, and he was in these crutches that had this like mech suit attached to the back, where he was like swinging his legs and mostly using his arms to get around, and he was taking a little break as I was passing, so I was like, oh, do you want a hand? He had all these bags and stuff, and he was a really old guy, and he was like, nah, just you get on with your day, son. And at that point I was like, I'm in no rush, it's no problem, I'll help you. So I took out his bags and jumped him down to the pharmacy, and then I was gonna then just come here and do the stream, and he's like, well, you just wait there a minute till I get out. I'll have more bags. And that, jump me to the bus. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I waited out and we walked down and that. And he wanted to walk like... We got to the first bus stop, which I know perfectly well he could have got on. But then he was like, and talking away about what his life was like, and talking about he'd been lonely since his wife had died, and about his mech suit that he had on and stuff. And then we ended up walking past 3 bus stops. The guy just wanted some company, and I felt too bad to leave him, so that's what delayed me an extra amount of time. And it reminded me of this time when I was in New York, and I'd left this fashion show, and I was walking to the shop, thinking, like, I'll just get some fags, and then I'll come back to this pish. And I walked past this lady, and she was in a wheelchair, and she was like, oh, will you help me, son? Well, she didn't say son. She was like, will you help me? Will you help me? And she was quite aggressive about it. And of course I said, yeah, sure, and I'm going this way, and I'll push you for a bit. So I pushed her to the shop that I was got to, which took about 15 minutes. And then so that left her to go on her way, and I went into the shop, and I came back out a few minutes later. I was walking back, and she was like facing the other direction in her wheelchair going, can you help me, to anyone, and this guy was like, oh, yeah, and I started pushing her the opposite direction. And I was like, what's going on out here, eh? People are just people just want company, you know. Everyone just wants company. Anyway, she was actually fucking crazy, but the dude today was a nice guy. Well, there I go. Got myself demonetized already, probably with that chat. Right, stop swearing, Jimmy. Stop swearing, Jamie. I've got a new thing on the go on the streams, right? I've got a couple of photos I've yet to put on there. One from Kim, and I haven't asked permission from Kim yet, so I haven't got away with that. And another one that I've put on that I haven't asked permission from, which is from D Harker, of pictures of you guys in your Bing Bong t-shirts. So I'm going to start putting them on the stream, like above me, or any t-shirts you get. There's also the fantastic known pleasures. Bad Mama Chama sent me a picture of him wearing this morning, and I've got that on and a couple of other ones, and King Ray cycling through there along with other pictures in top left, like funny pictures or things that are worth that like hint at my personality a little bit, and maybe some aspects of the branding that I'd like to bring to the greater platform that is Unreasonable Tradespotting. So like if you've got pictures. Why is Streamlabs timing out Eddie B? That's ridiculous. Why are you doing that, Streamlabs? Please refrain from using foul language. Oh, come on, stupid thing. It's not foul language. We all want to say the hedgies are fucked. It's just a common phrase around here. We all say it all the time. Anyway, Eddie's B is being censored by Streamlabs. Naughty, naughty Eddie. Oh my goodness, someone bought a t-shirt. Weezer got a t-shirt. Whoop whoop. So thank you very much. That's really appreciated, and that's quite a spiffing one. I do like that one myself, Weezer. Sheegers. I missed the message as it came back. Did I see it here? Do I see it? No, I didn't. I've got other super chats I've got to read out. Oh my goodness, right. I'm going to get onto these super chats in a second. So I was trying, before I finished that point, I was trying to make it and I didn't get around to it. If you've got any if you've got any Unreasonable.shop merchandise, or like I'm saying, if you've bought a Bing Bong t-shirt or anything else, send me a picture of you in it so that I can put it on the stream if that's okay with you, so that other people can see that it's not just me that's an unreasonable person. It's all of us, and that so that would be appreciated. Right, and then I'll get around to reading yon super chats. So that's brilliant. Thanks very much for these people. Bing Bong, the price is wrong. Budding. I will pay 1,000 USD if instead of stream TA, you stream 15 minutes of Suck Puppet choking the chicken. 1,000 USD, your call. Daniel, you really do tempt me there with that one. You're going right for the jugular with that. Whoa, I could take a quick $1,000. That would be 5 GMEs. We should probably end up turning into, 5 each without even stress. Fair value play, 5 years' time, what you're looking at, that'd be about 250 grand you'd be giving me there, overall. Just for choking the chicken with the old song puppet. You know, Daniel, that's a very tempting offer, but I'm going to have to refuse. Because, other people out there, that just wouldn't be mass appeal to that kind of content, I don't feel. But it was just very niche. Just super chatted AndrewMoMoney and asked him to collab with the best TA in the world. He said he has plans to do that, maybe even today. Whoa, that's very generous of him. He has a huge audience, and he's a very hard-working individual. I think I've said this a few times. People pick up on the controversial stuff I say, but I've been quite... I've been quite clear that AndrewMoMoney is one of the hardest working YouTubers I've ever fucking seen, and so that would be fantastic. I definitely would do that. I'd be up for doing that, and more attention GME gets and the TA, right, the better, especially with my TA, because it's accurate and more people make money if they follow along. And this is not financial advice. So that's super chats. The other thing we ought to cover and we should cover every day is this isn't financial advice. Yes, that's true. It's not financial advice. In fact, my financial advice is don't trade. It's far too risky. It's far too dangerous. It's far too difficult. It's really useful. It's really only the sort of thing that you should only really do if you're incredibly wealthy already, if you'd have no need for money, if your daddy has already told you the direction of all of the trades that you're going to need to take, and preferably if you've also got like a huge rich extended family who will also be all investing in the same thing at the same time, and I'm talking like trillions of dollars, and on top of that you want to also have the CEOs of all the companies that you invest in. You want to have them in your pocket and have blackmail on all of them. Otherwise just don't bother trading, right? That's the best advice I can give anybody with regards to those things. So yeah, that's the financial advice. And then on to the other advice, that's don't shop at Unreasonable.shop. It's really unreasonable. The prices are absurd. The products are incredibly fucking awesome, but that's got nothing to do with it. Like, it's so unreasonable. It's only for people that like really desperately want to do it, right? And if you do, then you're weird. So that's that. And then the links to follow my charts 24/7, at least I think so. I don't check them all that time, but I think you can just crack the old links there in the old description down below, where you can find all sorts of information for yourself. There's like links to free stuff. There's ways you can support the channel, obviously, and there's a link to Rocky's Discord, and what else is there? All sorts of interesting stuff in the description. So, have a great rummage around in there anytime you feel like it, A good itchy, scratchy down in the description whiption. And when do I move to Turkey, says Team Pokerus. You see, I suspect you moved there around November, or just beforehand, right? Asked my girlfriend to marry me last night, and she said yes. After Moas, you and your brother are invited to the wedding as a thank you for everything you both do. Sorry, no Ferrari. I'll go schizo. Well, congratulations. That's fantastic news, and I'm delighted that you took the moment out to tell me about it, and I would absolutely love to come to your wedding. That would be a fantastic... Then I'll get away with having them, right? It's fair use anyway. It's just the bots and that. So we'll see how that goes. Aye, that's brilliant. What a lovely message to get. Congratulations, Algo Schizo. I hope the Algo does go schizo before then, and that'll be fantastic during the MOAS. And if you get your wedding after the MOAS, then wow, that's going to be some sort of crazy bash, isn't it? Well, hopefully everything goes well. And I'm there, and that'll be fantastic. Thank you very much. What a lovely invitation. And the $10 as well. Really appreciate it. Cheers, buddy. Cool. What a nice little interjection there. That was brilliant. Congrats, Algo. Exactly. Congrats. And congrats for your girlfriend as well. Marrying such a smart person. There only are something like, who knows, right? Let's say there's probably not more than 50, like there definitely won't be more than 50 million holders of GME. Are there? Are there that many of us? I don't know how many of us there are, but there's 9 billion people in the world, and say, let's say half of them are men, let's say that's 4.5 billion, and she managed to pick one of the few million of those who hold GME, so she's obviously like a smart cookie herself. Haha. It's dead funny, innit? And we're going to look back on these streams, talk about these things, and be like, wow, that Algo Schizo guy must be happy. We're going to look back on these things. After MOAS, there'll be so many things. Like, that's why I don't like getting copyright things, because I have to remove it, and then you can't see the live chat. But, like, after the MOAS, we'll come back and look at these streams and look at the things in chats and be like, I remember, how's Eddie doing? I remember what was that? What's Daniel up to? What's Minner up to? That's funny. I remember that time sitting Bull and Tony Pickus were having that conversation, and all those other people were like, wow, thanks so much, and other people learning that. People afterwards sending me messages like, wow, I learned so much in the chat and that. How are all these people going to look back on things afterwards? I think we'll all be like well proud of it. And Like, we've made friends for life, I think. I certainly think so. I want to go. Where's the wedding? On the moon. On the moon. Wasn't it dead funny that petitioned to not let Bezos back into Earth's orbit after he leaves on his upcoming space jaunt? Isn't it? It's like, I've said this a while ago to my mates when Bezos and Branson and Musk started their little race to space, and I was like, this is not like this is not like the honor of the Apollo missions. This is the gentrification of the stratosphere. You know, that's what it is. You know, they're like, hey, fuck it. It's a little bit shit here. We can tell things are going to get worse. Let's take the upper atmosphere for ourselves. Fucking, honestly, it's a fucking joke. We're going to have hotels up there soon. I think Marge calls at 2:20, but pure speculation on my part. Yes, 343. It's 343 on it, on like it's particularly you want to see a weekly opening close above 343. So it's not like when you hit there, like it's like that's not the striking of the match, so to speak. That's not how that event will work. It's more of a capture the flag type of game, and there's a countdown on it once you get there, and it's a week, right? And then like when I say an opening close, that means that 1 week will have finished, and then the subsequent week will also have finished, right? So you'll have a whole section of that period above that price or at that price, and it doesn't have to be like that throughout that period always above it. The open and the close of it has to be above it, at which point then you're like, well, hey, cool guys don't look at explosions, right? Cool dads don't look at explosions, but we're cool as fuck, and we're going to be looking at this fucking explosion from every possible angle. Every possible angle. 211 spot 24. That's quite a lovely price. We came down and we hit that 618. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh my goodness gracious me. We hit the 618 like I said we would. We've recovered the... I wanted to make these a different colour because people can't see what's going on. Also, people don't know why I do different fibs and that and what's important about which one and so on. So I could take a moment to explain that sort of thing.
All I'm offering is the truth. Nothing more.
Oh my god, someone's offering the truth. GME sentiment was high on Wall Street bets this Sunday. It hit the top post after previously being suppressed. How does changing sentiment look this week and going forward? From the Bolton base. The Bolton base. It's the Bolton base. Are you from Bolton? Absolutely awful at a Bolton accent. And you super chatted $5 with it as well. In it, that Her Majesty's Great British Pound, the finest of currencies, if you ask me. GME sentiment. How does it changing sentiment look this week and going forward? Well, you're going on, which would be quite a qualitative factor there, aren't you? With Wall Street bets. But I like it. I like what you've got going there. The nature of that particular forum is people who are looking for very short-term gains, and so that's positive, right? That would be like an incendiary type of attitude, and that sort of sentiment's very, very positive to get those sort of the guys that are into the into the pumps. If those people are talking about GME in that way, that would suggest that there's upcoming volatility, and this type of feeling and sentiment can go one of two ways. If it's a news-based catalyst and we're talking about something that's upcoming, then it's likely that either that move will be baked into the price, either the current price on the spot, or the options chain will be reflected in open interest. If it was a news-based catalyst that was yet to happen, that everyone was aware of. If instead it was a technical indicator that had given that sign, such as, for example, when I did Bing Bong in the middle of the night. And that was what was garnering attention, then it may lead to like more volatility. So you got to look at not the nature of the people, but also the reasons for the speculation. And so this is like how you derive what its potential effect might be on price action. And also you can see that reflected in the charts quite quickly if it happens, you know, in your momentum and your volume and your volatility. Usually you would also see it come at the same time as some sort of test of trend or some sort of pattern formation, which like tends to attract that retail mentality for the quick pumps. So that would reflect well with the fact that we're in this cup and handle and that we've come down to the lower sort of levels where you might expect there to be some sort of a bounce, and we can turn on a volatility indicator shortly and see what that looks like. As with respect to the volume, you can't see anything there yet, and again the same must be said on the Macadoodle. The Macadoodle-Dee-Doo. If you go to the 30 minutes though, and we see, right, this is one of your momentum flip switches, is the MACD. The way I use it is using the MACD and the signal line along with the histogram. Other people like Rocky, for example, take the slightly different approach to it, which is again worth doing, and it makes things slightly clearer, because as well as giving buy and sell signals, I use this for divergence analysis. But I don't split my divergence analysis up into a section when I'm doing my TA, because I'm like, although I am out here trying to help everybody, it's like it would be a major regression in the way that you approach a study in Confluence if you were to analyze divergence in and of itself, right? It is just the overcoat that you will put on top of all of your hard data. So bear that in mind when you see people like who do a whole section on TA and then at the end like start looking at well, and here let's go back through it all and do a section on divergence or whatever, because like quite often they either give undue weighting to certain types of divergence, or they completely misunderstand hidden divergence in a certain way. All I'm offering is the truth. So the truth is that what you want to be doing with regards to it when you watch people who stream TA is to see how their overall approach like comes together, not just in a compare and contrast fashion, but in a holistic approach of their presentation. To particular the way that they're doing analysis, right? Does it work via like volume, volatility, momentum, and trend, and that's the headlines, right? Not any one particular indicator. That's not the headline. That just might be a chapter that you can skip to in the video. And as opposed to, say, for example, you're learning about a topic such as divergence, which is really hard to get some people to get their head around, because it's never a black and white. It's always shades of grey with divergence. And so in that sense, when you really want to learn it as a sort of like an individual topic in and of itself, and one of the things that's good about Rocky Outcrop's community and Tony Wright there, who's in chat, is that he does things like that on Mondays. He talks about these in the live radio, what's it called, the live chat room down there, and he'll have like it's like a free class really, where everyone gets together and learns things and that. And so one of the recent things he talked about was divergence. He's also got a video about it on his channel, which is quite good, and you can check it out, and he's a good person to know. So that sort of thing, right, when it comes to divergence. And why was I talking about divergence? Oh yeah, because I was talking about the MACD, and some people just look at things on their own. One of the ways you could look at the MACD is lots of people do, is you just turn off the signal line and the MACD line and look at it now, and you're like, well, what use is this? Well, it's a momentum indicator, so you can see what the momentum trend is like. So clearly it's going like you need 3 touches to define it as doing anything. You don't really have 3 on 30 minutes. So let's just quickly stick it on, say you're not necessarily looking for divergence itself, but you are looking for some form of momentum that you can measure. And you could say in the past there, for example, there was this line. And you could see, well, that's clearly where the momentum is to the weakening to the downside. And you could see this was a period of lower highs. So that's your trend, is the trend down, but you also have higher lows. And then you're like, well, that itself doesn't give me an indication of the trend, because there's neither higher highs nor is there lower lows, right? it's converging. So then when you look in here, you're like, well, what does the momentum say? And it says that the downside momentum is weakening, right? And you would say, well, is the top side momentum weakening? Well, so no, because you can't draw a trend line through this, right? You might think you can, right? Maybe you can over the piece. Like, oh, I've gone across the different indicator there. So I'll start from the other side. Does that make it work? Like I'm a right-handed person now. Yeah, I'll just move this up a bit so it's clearer. And then you can see, like, well, perhaps there is some sort of trend there. 1, 2, no, not really. Like, and if you don't even get, like, you need 3 touches to make a trend, right? Whereas 1, 2, 3, you've got them here. You could even maybe be stricter with that and say it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was that momentum, and that has broken to the upside, right? And then you'll be like, well, what's happened since? This seems to have changed, Jamie. And it's like, well, no, not really. I mean, you look at that, right? This is way lower than it was here when we had this low. Yet prices aren't lower. So you think, like, well, what is that? Is that that divergence? Is that possibly low? It's like, well, this isn't necessarily a low for a start. This wasn't the low. The low was actually in this trend was actually back here, and it was down here. So if you're comparing lows to each other and you're using an indicator to do it, then you can't just go like, oh, well, here and here, and that's divergence, because this is like not as low, and that is. Well, it's like that's comparing two apples and oranges. You want to be comparing apples and apples. So if this was a low and a higher low, then your higher lows before are definitively like down here, this one, so you might be saying like, well, is it divergent? It's not divergent compared to back then. And then you'd say, well, then, so we take that out of the picture, and you're like, well, what about here? And you can say, have we got a trend? And it's like, well, not really. And then where are your lows you measure in between? Then you'd start looking at these ones and say, is that perhaps divergent? And you'd say, well, let's look at the top side and see, well, here's other two different tops, here slightly lower, here slightly lower, no convergence, no divergence in that. And so you can do like what is like an analysis of the divergence in that sense a little bit cleaner, if you don't have, especially if you make it full screen, if you don't have your signal and MACD line on, which they themselves are mostly used for like trade setups as opposed to real analysis. I say real, bear with me, right, so volume disappears when I do that. Of course, what a waste of time that was. So I'm going to get into doing this TA shortly, and then I've got a busy day as usual. And I appreciate everybody who showed up and hit like and shared the video and stuff. As been saying, views have been dropping dramatically. That's that 618 again. Yeah, it's been dropping dramatically. So every little helps. All the views and shares and likes and stuff and everything really, really helps. Getting new people into the audience is great because other people come along. They know that it's good TA. They hear that I say that it's going up, and then they're like, "Cool, sound. Don't need to worry." And that's great because I've helped somebody. But on the other hand, like they don't necessarily come back. So I don't know if I'm still continuing to help people or not, or what's going on. So when new people come in, then that really helps boost the overall audience a little bit. So everyone, welcome every new body, and be nice to people, please. And and if you can bring them in, then that even better, right? Because like I'll provide value to invest on that front and put in effort, right? And so on that note, I'm going to start doing actual TA in a minute. I don't even know why I was talking about all that stuff. Anyway, something for somebody, I'm sure, to learn something. Hopefully, I don't know if it didn't help, whatever. I'm sure I could fix this stuff myself with regards to like viewership drop off by actually starting properly at the right time and not having 4 years of non-face TA at the start and like cracking on with it and whatnot. I'm sure I could do all that, do that stuff, but also like you take the priorities as they come, really, when they wake up in the morning. Sometimes. So what is everybody saying in chat right before I get into doing all this serious stuff? The serious stuff. Tradespotting, bottom of the chart is clipped off and not visible. Alright, so that was me wasting time there. I see. No problem. Well done, Jamie. Well, I suspect it works fine when I'm on the actual live scene instead of the starting soon screen. So I shall get around to that shortly. I shall fix it when I go through the other screen. That's a hard pass, says Streamlabs. 8ball, do you like Avatar? You do you, brother. Bad Mama Jama, what an absolute legend you are. Love you, buddy. Are you joking? Lol. Converge. It's not about the amount of viewers, but the quality of them. Yeah, that's true. It is about the quality of them, but I also don't want to put a burden on people, like, because I'm not going to go into the longs and the short of it, but as you can imagine, spending all day doing this sort of thing or putting a lot of time and effort into this sort of thing has an opportunity cost for me in my own life. So then other people recognize that and then start donating and stuff, and then I'm like, oh well, now I'm taking donations off the same people over and over, and I feel bad about that. So it's like, well, if you reach a critical mass of like 30,000 subscribers and 3,000 concurrent people in live chat, which sounds like a really ambitious or greedy type of target, really what I'm wanting to do is like split it so that the value I give across to people is like way more than what I'd be getting back of any one person, and then I don't feel guilty and everybody's a winner, right? Because like everybody gets like, you know, that's the sort of thing I want. So that was my objective, right? Like that's why I keep putting effort in to up things. You know what I'm saying? So like it's about like sounds self-serving, like, oh, I want more viewers and I want bigger subscribers and that, but really it's like just trying to, like, it's just like par for the course, I think, right? I'm not asking for more than what the other YouTubers that cover this and put in less effort than me get. I'm not even asking for the equivalent, just a touch of what the big channels have got, for putting in like the same value at least, and then like spread it out over, and there's Dan, shut up and take my money. There, you see, this is the person, I'm one of the main people I'm talking about. Like, I don't want to realize, like, and it's great, right? And I hope that like I'm out here changing lives and helping people change the world and so on. Okay, how's picnic come along, Jamie? Good, mate. That's what I spend most of my time doing when I'm not. Thanks, Daniel. It's appreciated, and you are very much appreciated, and you're a legend, really, in so many ways. Thanks. It's great to have people like you viewing. The quality of viewers, what people are talking about, then you're the best example of it. Like, you're really such a sound bloke. And what was I also thinking there? That was whatever I was talking about. Okay, Picky was asking about Picnic. Those, and this is the thing, like, also on top of when we're talking about opportunity cost, like, I'm delaying Picnic, which is ready to go, essentially. Rocky and I have got it ready to go, and we've got people interested that we've got huge pockets that'll earn me equivalents of what I would be getting from a MOAS, right? And that's not, no exaggeration there. It's a very, very big idea. It's a very big project, and I can't even talk about it when I'm on stream here because I feel like it'll get tainted by some perception that I'm out here to further my own life. When I'm not, I'm out here to do the exact opposite, right? Further other people's lives, and that's what I would consider to be the inversion, not the opposite. So, yeah, so Kick is great, KK, and it will be going soon. I might have to just launch it and do it all without actually talking about it on my YouTube channel, which is completely ridiculous. But I might have to do it, so because, you know, there's like such a volatile nature of some of the people that follow GME. Don't want to piss anyone off. Well, Jamie is a pretty girl, eh? Apparently, I've got stories about that, hundreds and hundreds of them as it happens. If you're interested, listen to Frostcrest. What is Frostcrest saying? And where is he? Where is the Frostcrest saying? I do want to listen to Frostcrest all the time. Where is he? What's he saying? Anyway, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about really. There's just that. What was I talking about overall? I don't know. Anyway, everything's going great. I don't want to give the wrong impression. Like, you know, I don't necessarily expect anybody to get the value that I'm trying to convey. You know, I'm a big believer that you'll never be understood for who you are, especially by yourself. And there's so many different versions of you that exist, right? Obviously, everybody who understands you will understand you differently. So, etc., etc. Sorry for bringing it up, brother. Don't be sorry, Kiki. Not at all. Not at all, mate. You're such a big champion of it, and me, and I appreciate you, everything about you and that. And you're like basically family, so don't never need to apologise to me, mate. So you are going to explain why you used multiple fibs. Oh, I was going to do that. That's right, Ronaldo. Sure, that's a good one. Thanks for reminding me. Doing your tutorial videos again would be awesome. You have to really know your stuff to follow you a lot. New traders just don't know. Aye, that's true, right? People don't understand necessarily the value or don't take it because they're at different levels. And like, I don't tailor the content for who's Jamie exactly? Who the hell is he? Nobody knows anymore. I don't tailor the content for complete beginners. You know, I just say it the way I'd like to hear it myself. And to be honest with everybody, like, I'd like to hear it in the most complicated way, in the most thorough version of it, and I'd like to hear it repeated at me over and over and over until I got it in the best way I could, rather than start taking baby steps and like, you know, oh, this will get you to stage 1, and here you are, now we'll go to stage 2. Like, that's not the way I've ever done anything in my life ever, right? Like, like, I don't appreciate other people. I'm an autocrat, right? I'll tell it to me like it is at the start, up front, and then I'll tell you the same thing. So that's how my shit comes across, right? I'm like, you know, take the value from it if you can. A lot of people can't. So like, then I look out there and I see other people digest it and spit it back out in a simpler term, and I'm like, oh, cool, go for it. You know, I don't feel like that's copying because they themselves are out here learning and that, and I don't care. They could be another YouTuber, they could be a random person, it could be on Reddit, whatever. Like, you know, if you can take this content and parse it and put it through for people that will eventually turn up here being like, right, sweet, this is the source, then that's fine too. All that shit's good, whatever. But at the same time, you know, like, there's still funny ass shit on Reddit, eh? Like, I'm not going to go into it, I'm not going to talk about it too long, but somebody posted some TA that was basically mine, right? Let's be honest. It was my TA that somebody else had done, and they'd be like, well, look at this, right? But it was the TA I'd done 2 weeks ago. Literally 2 weeks ago. And somebody pointed that out, and then I got all this abuse in the comments, right? For about why I was doing this, and was it for personal fame? And like, they're not going to go into it, but if you want to look up my history, you'll see that I've had multiple opportunities at life-changing fame, which I reject out of hand. 3 or 4 of them, right? Look it up. Look at my life, right? Look at who it is that I am, and before you start saying I'm out here looking for fame. Fucking nonsense, mate. Like, honestly, you can pick the wrong criticism for the wrong person, and so many people are doing that with me at the minute. It's absurd. I'm not sure where they're getting their impression from. So, like, I'm out here for fame. Mate, you've got the wrong fucking idea. And that, am I doing it for money? Are you kidding me? Like, I could be making so much more money doing anything else. Like, that's a stupid-ass thing to say. And then they're like, well, if the MOAS is imminent, why are you doing it? It's like, am I fucking doing it for money? Is the MOAS about money? Because if it is, you can get fucked, by the way. I'm out here trying to change the fucking world. Fucking fannies. So the answer to people are like, well, why is he doing it? Right? The answer to them is, fuck off! Right? Fuck off! If you don't know by now, you're never going to understand, and none of us have got the time for fannies like you. Because you're the problem. It's you that gets away. It's you. It's because of you they get away with it. It's because of you, and you're unable to see past your own fucking nose and understand that other people aren't motivated by greed and envy. World has got other paradigms. Other people have got bigger, deeper souls than you pathetic loser. And we're out here doing it for all the right reasons, which are also fucking obvious. So you can get fucked!
Hey.
So that's essentially my feelings on that. There's 999 from Wolfric Doomslayer. Some people want to listen while at work. During bell to bells. Could you call out the price action every 20 to 30 minutes? Keep doing you, like the mysterious voice said. If you build it, they will come. Yes, they will. And if I tell them to get fucked every 5 minutes, they probably won't. But yes. Exactly. That's what I shall be doing. Right. Yes, I got lovely getting out of the system. And you're right, people do like to listen at work. I should respect that some people do jobs where it's not quite possible to listen to somebody screaming and swearing all the time. So I'm going to stop doing that, and I'll be more pleasant and happy and energetic. And I'll talk about things that keep people pumped so that you can be very productive for your boss, which is important because thanks to his infinite gratitude and charity, he provides us with this opportunity to produce and to work, and he will reward us by paying for our mortgage, which the bank, even long after we've paid off the value of it, still retain the right to steal it from under us if we miss a payment, which might happen because of a global pandemic. But there, it's okay, the government's there to protect you in the last resort. But they fucking aren't, because look at the amount of people that are homeless. Look at the fucking state of the world. But sure, no problem. Let's just buy your fucking lies, eh? Let's just believe that everything that everybody tells us. Let's just fuck it, eh? Fuck it. We can never defeat the hedgies, right? They're too big. They're too smart. I know there'll be some way for them to get out of it. Well, there's no fucking way out of it if all of us buy it and hold it and buy it and hold it and buy it again, is there? There's no fucking way out then, is there? And you think we're fucking stupid? Fucking hell, man. But yeah, so I've got to keep the swear words down and the tone more in the land of where people are like a professional, professional. With customer facing, some of us, those customers, quite often they're happy, right? They just want to live their fucking Xanax lifestyle. All they care about is their hairstyle. They're not fucking interested in, the environment, society, the 99.999%. Fucking fannies. So like some people, commonly known as Karens, who put their own fucking life so fucking important, they can't hear people like me. That'd be a fucking nightmare, right? That'd be like dark matter smashing into their stupid mushy soft matter. They can't have that. I'm never going to get to fucking 300,000 subscribers or whatever the fuck it is that people consider to be the level of credibility or whatever it is nowadays. If I keep talking like this, I'm just not going to, right? I have to tailor the message slightly differently and let people discover the truth for themselves. Because when you just tell people straight out like it is, right? They're like, nah, hey, wait a minute. Why would this guy be telling me the truth? Like, that's where it's come to, eh? That's what the world's come to. It's like, I can come out here and I can tell you the truth. And loads of people are like, nah, why the fuck would somebody be telling me the truth? Why would that be happening? What are his motivations? What's in it for him? Because this is fucked. The world doesn't work like that. Nobody actually just says it like it is. So, I have to knock the edges off. Which is fine, I understand, right? Apparently that's art, right? Apparently that's the difference between work and effort. Who knows? Yeah, but who cares? Stay true. Well, it's not like we can fucking avoid it, right? The more and more of the red pills you take, the less and less that you can even consider going back. Daniel Groves, I've left off my disability check from the VA and have no boss to offend. I love the swearing. Anger is the only appropriate response to the nonsense afoot. Daniel Groves, you legend. And probably, no idea who you are, but you're probably a hero, and certainly you are in your own life, and big respect, buddy. Thanks, Daniel. That's very generous of you. Well, if you're living off your disability check from the VA, then you're banned from ever donating to me again, Daniel. Like, I only want to give value to people like you. You don't ever have to pay a penny towards this channel.
Boy.
And
holding the Quidditch cup.
That's very generous of you, but don't ever think you have to donate here, Daniel. That's not the way it works, right? That's not the way it works. And we'll grow the audience, and there'll be plenty of people who are making millions of pounds off the truths that we talk to each other about. And those people will be able to support the channel in a way that you don't ever need to. And we'll give back to you, Daniel, for all the work you've done for everybody else for your life. Thank you very much. You and your brother are legends. I love the rants. Keep being real. I'm right here with you guys. Yo! Main J, thank you very much. That's really appreciated. That's really appreciated. Yeah, and you've got good Rocky in that, and to say that he's a better man than I am. And you're not supposed to say that stuff because in the marketing land, people then start thinking, well, if you're not the best, but the truth is, like, we're both the best. They say people who curse a lot are more honest. You are a legend. Thanks, Kim. You're a legend. Andy, the very ones stealing and enabling that stealing from all of us all the time. Yeah, they're the bastards that'll keep you down, right? And that's in their best interest to do it, isn't it? In fact, like, it's their only interest and it's their only real job, because everything else is just set it and run, right? It's just sick it and leave. That's what they've got the whole economy on. Set it and run, Matt, and let's fuck off and spend our actual time keeping everybody down. And then when it does hit, this fucking shit does hit the fan, we'll rake every single penny in we can. And then as they're down on the fucking streets protesting about how their lives have been ruined again, we'll clink glasses and toast to our own success, staring down at them from the fucking balcony. Here's a favour from Daniel. Thank you for your service, Daniel. Paul, you're a legend. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Paul. Just jumped in, and I'd love to know what the fuck is going on with your TA, lol. Yo. Yo. Was that Rob? Yeah, Rob. What's going on with the TA? It's on the road, mate. It's on the road, mate. It's coming up now, mate. We're just looking at this retrace here, and we're talking about this 618. What the prices are getting caught at, and saying how this was a good bounce and that, and the prices will probably go up from there, and these are the levels where it's going to, these little apes, and there's like loads of good empirical reasons why that might be the case, which we will discuss when this helicopter fucks off. Yeah, so that helicopter, that's not my helicopter. Despite recent claims on the internet, I don't come from generational wealth. In fact, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. My mum's parents were from Cross McGlen. They grew up in what would be the quote poorest part of, perhaps actually the poorest part of Northern Ireland at the time. And it had no running water or electricity. And likewise, my father's parents grew up in Kilkeel, very, very poor area. My dad fought in the Second World War, came back afterwards and died shortly after. My dad was 6, and he grew up with 6 brothers and sisters. As my mum had 7 brothers and sisters, they grew up in a family in a home without water, without electricity. You know, that's the generation before my parents. That's where they came from. There was no generational wealth here, none at all. And everything that anyone in my family has ever got, they've had to work for, and they've had to strive, and they've had to work harder than the guy standing next to them, because they've been subject to prejudice and judgment because of their background, their religion, or where they or just the accent which they speak. So anyone out there accusing me of generational wealth is doing themselves a disservice, because it's demonstrably false, and everything about me speaks to the truth of who I am. So, like, if you're out here attacking your own, then shame on you, you fucking fanny. But these are the things that make us. These are the moments that knock the fucking chunk of marble off, that leaves like the shoulder or the whatever, the bicep or the fucking jawline or whatever the fuck it is on that particular piece of art. My thoughts as well. Kenny Keyboard Cowboy. Yo. The rich think it's disturbing. Everyone works hard for what they have at some point, apart from the merchants. Exactly. Yeah, everybody works hard for what they have until a certain level, and that level is the 0.0001%. There's no better tea on YouTube, my friend, and the Scottish accent is the cherry on top. Rob Davis. The legend. Thanks, Rob. You're just very generous of you. I'm going to get around to that to you anyway. Little Leslie Wright. My mother lived in Ireland. No electricity or water. The first time they seen a real toilet was on the boat over to America. Yeah. There you fucking go. Where they were put on without... Probably they were forced to get on there by a famine that was caused by the country nearest to them and their policy with regards to Catholics. Sounds fucked up, but that's the world we live in, and it isn't all that long ago. In fact, not that speaks to the current situation there at the minute or my political feelings whatsoever. I don't associate with fucking anybody, and anybody who says it does lying out their fucking teeth. There's only one political action that I believe in, and it's GME. Thank you for subscribing, Scott Langley. Scott Langley. There's a Scott Langley on YouTube. I think it's Scott Langley. Is it Scott Langley? He does videos about space, and he's an absolute legend, and he's from Edinburgh, same place as me, and I'm so good to see people like him with his accent really leading that niche. And I don't think that'll be the same, Scott Langley, but either way, you're very welcome. Thanks for subscribing, you're very welcome. Okay, but remember, bing bong, the price is wrong. Buying now is the equivalent of buying Apple before the iPod. Any price right now is a steal, but long term, when GameStop's going to change the game. Before the iPod, that's the definitive moment. Yeah, that's like the generational shift in iPod and in Apple, already themselves like a leader in a similar field to GameStop. Certainly, when you consider like the greater marketplace it is, and the blurring of the lines between previously very definitive and distinct target segments. Now you can see that GameStop and Apple, the only real difference is hardware, right? In terms of branding, in terms of customers, in terms of that customer relationship that they've managed to build. Apple are a very good comparison to GameStop, and they're a very good floor to look for a start when you're working out where the MOAS might take us. Trade, any idea why the volume is so low? I know it means people not buying. Any idea why? It doesn't necessarily mean people not buying. It means that this low volume is the transactions, right? I try to emphasize this a lot when I'm talking about volume, which is why, despite the fact that you can't actually see it right now, my volume profile, I don't have the red and the green on the candles. It's just white, right? Because for every buy there's a sale, and I don't give a flying shit if it's a market sale or a market buy or market or a limit order. It's a transaction, and there's two people, and there's one on one side and there's one on the other, and both of them thought that it was a good deal at the time. So I don't care if this is red or green, right? I care if these are red or green, and just have these as that would be stupid. What do I think about the green volume? It means that no one's selling, mate. It means absolutely nobody is selling, and when that message is clear, not that there's no volume or not that no one's buying, because the truth is people are buying, and the truth is those sales that we are seeing come through on our markets, and those buys quite frequently go through on unlit markets, aka dark pools, and because of that, the price is wrong. Bing bong, the price is wrong. This is not a fair exchange. This is not a true representation of the value of this company. This is what we commonly call bullshit. This is bing bong. This is the price is wrong. This is only the volume you're ever likely to see, because they don't want the price going above here. They definitely don't want the price going above any of these little guys, right? It'll be fucking God forbid the price gets up to this guy, right? So there's your volume, isn't your real volume, and that's why you've got people like TD Ameritrade suspending option trading, because they know the volatility that's coming, right? And you've got all of this excruciating, right? Psychologically, this is excruciating for people who are anticipating and salivating the MOAS. But for people like ourselves who are like, bing bong, the price is wrong. You buy, you hold. We don't give two flying Fs, right? We're quite happy to see it hold levels, because we're used to holding things, and that it's like the volume is a signature of nobody selling. Nobody, right? And that especially reflected in the market orders. Nobody's market selling anything, right? And so the price is only ever dipping under its own weight. On the own weight of the share price is what makes it fall down, while people aren't doing transactions of buying or selling, because every so often somebody checks out. Every so often somebody opens a short on this market, and you see that at price action. But do you see the people that are buying it, like Ryan Cohen when he puts the 5 million on the market and that? Nah, he sucks it right up. He sucks it right up, and you never see a fucking dink, and you never see a dink when people are buying it. And then where's this, right? Look at that. You're at the top of this fucking channel. You're nearly breaking previous resistance. You're putting in a high here after all of these positive candles in a row, right? All of them, and these are like normal candles. It's not even Heikeneshi, right, which would define the trend, right? It's still exactly the same when you turn it to that. That's how positive that was. And what's happening when that's going on? Fuck all on the volume. And why is that? Because they don't want us to see the volume. If you saw the volume and you knew it was actually going on, we'd be fucking on the moon already, you know? So like the low volume means nobody's selling. That's what it means. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's how many people are selling. There's the number over on the side. What is it? Too small to read. That's what it is. And that. And the buys, do you see them? Do you fuck? Right? You know, do you fuck, man? And there's always somebody stepping in being like, yeah, cool, no worries, right? We're in this negative position, right? Oh, the TA says blah, blah. Does it? Fuck. The TA is obvious. Everybody knows it now. You don't have to be copying me anymore. It's on the weekly and it's fucking coming in on the monthly, right? Look at that thing, right? Look at that and tell me you've seen something better than that. Tell me you've seen a chart that does that. That does it better than this. Yeah? And I'll show you. You know, there are a couple, right? And there are a couple. One of them's called Microsoft, and that's where we're fucking heading. Up and up and up and generationally up and up. That's where GameStop's going. And if you didn't realize it, it's fucking news to you. Hello, GameStop. Hello, in a few years' time, GameStop's going to be worth fuckloads more than it is right now. Why? Because they've got so many positive things about them. And they've got like absolutely fucking nobody that can possibly compete with them in terms of reputation. And then in terms of logistics, they've just got shitloads of liquidity. Shitloads. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Right? Look at this. Buy. You're only ever getting the odd sell on this. Right? And this is for paper-handed people. Or option traders. Or people that are only in it for the money. And it's what it's saying. You've had it. You've exhausted all the bad news. That's what it's saying. You know, look at anything you want, right? This is what we're looking at, and we're looking at in a log chart, and we're on the weekly, and we're putting this on this, and we're stretching out, and we're saying, well, what's actually happening? Like, well, what's actually happening? And we're saying, right, it's been in an obvious uptrend. It's like incredibly obvious. And how long has it been going on? Since the 6th of April, since the 30th of March 2020. Right, sound. So this is over a year, right? So we've got a year's worth of time of the Earth spinning around the sun, spinning around the fucking galaxy, spinning through the whole entire universe. A whole year of that shit. Where everybody knows, it's obvious, right? This is like an alarm clock. Nee, like it's a fucking ambulance. Wake up, everybody. Yeah, this retrace alone from its previous move, right, where it broke out of from $19 up to $40, that's 100%. At its next low is 100% up, right? You know anything about technical analysis, this is like a nee, no, buy the fucking thing. No, this is risky investment, you better diversify. Aye, right, and all this other pish is about to fucking implode. You fucking serious? Anyway, we've still not done any tea yet. It's just getting pissed off, right? That's all we're doing here is I'm getting pissed off, and it's not because of any views. It's because of the stupid nonsense. Like, and the more times I face that reality of how people are trying to fuck with me and you, the more I get pissed off, as should you. But we have to conserve our energy, because this is a long fight. Yep. But here I am. And I am a technical analyst, which I can't manage to say right for some reason. Which, I suppose that's the humour of it coming through there. Eh? Right, so the truth is I just tell it like it is, right? I'll say what the TA says on the chart that we're looking at, and it'll tell you everything you could possibly need to know. Now, people are out there saying TA doesn't work, right? And I'm out here telling you, right? Bing bong, the price is wrong. But the charts still say what the charts say, and they still tell you what they tell you, and they still make it obvious where the passive least resistance is sometimes. And when you zoom into little time frames, like that tends to make it less accurate and reliable, the TA people do. But as if you follow along here, like I prove it on the big and the medium and the short term time frames, right? I can tell what the charts are saying. And that's not like I've got some magic skill that nobody else has, or I'm from the future, and it's not the way it is, right? It's just that there's like a language to these things, and you can learn it. It takes a while, just like any language. And then just like anywhere else, if you live there, then you learn it quicker. Tradespotting, is it because of whispers?
All I'm offering is
separates close friends. A whisperer separates close friends. A whisperer separates close friends. That's a good saying. And then below, Ari says, you rock, heard anything on GME and Toys R Us? Barron's reported GME 197% year-on-year increase in import of toys. Toys R Us Twitter, your way to play. Can't wait to share. I wonder. It sounds like a partnership in the offing. Wouldn't that work too, with the both of them being subject to such malicious attacks from short hedge funds? That would be a perfect partnership. I haven't heard anything about it, Ari. You're the man with the news. You're first with the news. That's fresh off the press. Tradespotting land. Thanks very much for letting me know, Ari, and everybody else in chat about that potential partnership there between GME and Toys R Us. Wouldn't that be fantastic? If you were hoping to get that set up in time for Christmas, round about now would be fantastic, wouldn't it? What with the economy opening back up, GME, Toys R Us, and then who else would you add into that, right? What turns that partnership into an amazing trifecta? Well, I'll tell you who it is. It's Disney. What did Disney do? Well, they've got a massive streaming service, haven't they? Wow, look at those three brands come together, and look at that halo effect that they give to each other. And fuck yeah, I loved Toys R Us. I fucking loved Toys R Us. Some people grow up looking at all sorts of different things and that, and thinking, salivating, being like, wow, isn't that amazing? I'll tell you what, I looked at everything from Toys R Us and thought it was fucking amazing. It was where I got all my first toys. It was where I got my, well, not my very first toy, I'll tell you about that sometime. That's a hilarious story. And then grew up looking at Skelectrics, thinking about fucking Super Soakers. You know, where do you go for all the stuff that you have fun with? Toys R Us. And what, some bunch of bastards took it out of existence because they were shorting it too much. I'd love to see a partnership with them and GME and that. And then, wow, who better for Disney to work with, right? What sort of, like, when you think about it, right? And then you think about Disney and what all the brands they own, ESPN. And then you think about where esports is going. You know, it's like, there's a nice partnership, right? They could kick that off together, right? And Toys R Us could be flogging action figures of your favourite gaming heroes and that. Think of the sponsorship money on the table. It's just crazy, eh? It's just crazy. I wonder what we think. What should GME do with, like, what is all that liquidity if they got there? Have I got that set up? What is it? I wonder. I have no idea. Thanks, Ari. That's really interesting information. It's good to know. Mitt Romney did it for the insurance money. It was profitable. But Mitt Romney, I vote. Is that what it is? Now, there are electric cars everywhere. Yes, if you think about it, everywhere. And that's not even really, they're just like quite far and few between. When you stick them all together, and then we're going to see electric cars everywhere. There's Luke Spears. Toys R Us is not dead. Toys R Us is not dead. Yeah, fucking right, Toys R Us is not dead, and it'll never die. Thanks, Luke Spears, for pointing out the truth of this effectively, in my mind, like a permanent brand. You know, like, everybody wants their kids to have a good life, and like, try and say a fucking paragraph about that doesn't at some point talk on Toys R Us, right? Like a superstore, right? A superstore of toys called Toys R Us, right? It's just obvious. I think it should do something with VR. New generations, ouch the screen, imagine how the toy would feel. Yep, they should. Imagine how the toy would feel. Yep, you can have all the toys. You can have all the toys in the world if you've got Toys R Us. Toys R Us. Wasn't there talk a while back with Microsoft? Don't know. Microsoft, like, they're more of a mergers acquisition sort of thing themselves than a partnership type of business, but we'll see. I got a motor for my Kinects to make my creations move in Toys R Us. Good times, yeah, Kinetics. Like, how good was Kinetics? Like, you start off with Lego and then you're into Kinetics and that, and you're like, you know, where would Lego have been without Toys R Us? I know nowadays they hire graduates and they've got all sorts of partnerships themselves, and like, you can't see Lego without thinking Star Wars or whatever, Batman movies and whatnot. And that, like, Lego and GME, they can get together too, right? There's another match made in heaven. I mean, GME is like the perfect third. There isn't a relationship in the world that wouldn't benefit from GME. I mean that literally. Watching the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car? How makes the fannies of General Motors look like short-sighted idiots for not cornering the now huge market. Talk about that's true, Goblin Attorney. And how many decades ago was that? It's like 3+ now, isn't it? Fucking fannies, eh? This is it though. Vested interests.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I need to take these quotes down so that I can add them into things that I might say and then add them into that quote thing. So you see the shit I say before other people start repeating on their videos like it's their idea. So I need to get these memes out there.
Empty.
Aye, what was I just thinking there just beforehand? I used to go get Lego and Mercano. Wow, Mercano, yeah, fucking Mercano is amazing. From Toys R Us all the time. It's what inspired me to become an engineer. Yeah, an engineer. This is the thing, like, you know, people are like, oh, you know, you should study STEM things, you should do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want, and it'll probably be a bigger version of that Lego I was playing when I was 7. GameStop already selling Legos. Of course they are, mate. Of course they are. Check it out. I will do. Good one, Ari. I'll check it out. Well, I'll check it out in a minute, actually. Maybe check it out on stream later on after I've done some TA. And Radio Shack. Radio Shack. Well, they should have had a better brand that was parochial to their products, it turns out. Whereas GME have got a more encompassing consideration. Like Carphone Warehouse is immediately seen stupid as soon as the technology moves on. But still, like, it's the big business and certain things happen to it. Then you've got other ones like Best Buy, which is like a sort of a stupid name. Fear is powerful. The less people know what is true or not, the easier it is to create and thus control people's perspectives. That's why the constant stream of FUD. They just aren't used to it not working. GME sells Legos. Yeah, that's where you want to be getting them. GameStop website has a ton of Lego sets. A ton of them. You can't get enough of them. And you like your Lego, GME's the place to get it. But what I was thinking was we can have like the Lego movie. You know, we've got Ape Together Strong making the documentary, which it hopefully is like fucking ace and that. And you should check that shit out. And it'd be great to have those guys on the channel. I mean, me and those two chewing the fat, shooting the shit, that would be hilarious. I think everyone would like to see that. So those cool bros, would be good to reach out to them at some point and get them on. But yeah, that should also be like, after they've done their one, there'll be like a Lego version of it, right? This is not going to go away. Still live building the Lego houses and real houses. Shazza G. Yeah, man. It's in your blood. Where are we going? It's a hellfire of fannies. That's the date. The dates that was said, is that right? The audio in the super chat notifications seems to drown out your voice, at least for me. Hard to follow if you're just listening. Okay, well, I'll recalibrate things there. I shall turn it down. That's the desktop volume, I suspect. Or is the alert volume actually louder? Who knows, Jamie? You can figure this out, though. Well, I've turned down the desktop volume, so that's one thing. The alerts comes across there, though. It can't know. Can I change that somewhere else? I could do it now. I could take the 5 seconds to do that, couldn't you? Did I miss anything? You Rock heard anything on GME Toys? That was Ari before Scott Langley subscribed. That reminded me of one of my favourite YouTubers through Super Chat. There is no better TA on YouTube, my friend, and Scottish accent is the cherry on top. And that was Rob. Yeah, there isn't. there probably isn't better TA. I mean, Rocky's right up there. I couldn't say I'm better than him. Lego Move GME style. Great idea, Tradespotting movie. Yeah, Lego Movie GME style. Fucking right. And Lego 8 movie would be fire. Fucking right. And that's like the thing that YouTube haven't quite, Lego haven't quite got, is like the new type of hero, right? Yeah, they're all into your comic book heroes, and I understand that, and like there's the franchise there, and it's obvious, rinse and repeat. But there's also other people's heroes, right? There are other people, and that more identifiable, more like you and me, and that, and like not just on YouTube, but they're all sorts of personalities and all over the place. Some of them are on TV, some of them are on other YouTube channels. Like some of them, like I used to say, like not talking about me specifically, I'm talking about big YouTube channels and that like millions of people follow. Like especially people who've got like the guy Scott Langley that I'm talking about, has got his YouTube channel full of stuff in space and all the stuff he talks about with rockets and that. Like that those sort of people, they should have Lego stick figures, right? That's the fucking, I don't know, I think so. And like, we're talking about this stuff that inspires engineers. It's people like him that inspire like future rocket scientists and all. I met a rocket scientist there about 3 or 4 weeks ago. He was, well, such a sound, interesting guy who lives here in Scotland. Really like that guy. Hopefully you see him again soon. Worth's is life commented that Houston Wade said that AO and Rocky should reach out to him to go on his show. Fucking right we should. He's a legend. That guy Houston Wade is like actual living legend. I love him. I was watch his shows very, very, very frequently, and I definitely would reach out to him. Love to go on his show, especially with Rocky at the same time. That'd be fucking ace. High five in Houston 5, Johnny 5. That's kind of what Houston Wade like. He's like Johnny 5. He's like, yeah, but far more kilobytes. Like, give him a high five at the same time as Rocky. That would be a special moment. Like, get a photograph of that. And I would love to go on Houston Wade's channel if he said that. Like, that would be fucking ace. The guy is a titan. Wonder how many sleepless nights the Hedges had this year so far. Me, I've never slept better. Lucky you, Shazza G. I'm not remembering what sleep is. Every YouTuber covering the MOAS worth their name should be frothing at the mouth to collab with a James and a Rocky and reaching out to them. Houston is good too. Jackson Hunter is great too. Yeah, Jackson Hunter is a fucking absolute legend. That man's bones are good. He's like, let's talk about where the living, like, we're the natural born reaction to the bastards that run the world. I'm talking about, like, that thing is so obvious when you look at people like Jackson and like Houston, who is like the brain of 1,000 people. Like, he just turns his like green eyes, laser eyes on shit, and it's like, this is the truth. No more Reasonable Land. Yeah, fuck Reasonable Land. Be prepared for a big scare. They haven't gone nuclear on the markets yet. Remember Flash Crash? Yeah, fucking, yeah, I do. Be prepared. Buy good things cheap. Hold anything you want to own through whatever they do. It's yours. Yeah, it's yours. Take it. It's yours. It would be awesome to see that. Yeah, it would be awesome. It would be awesome to be on his show and chat to those guys. They're legends, both of them. Jackson and enjoyed that so much. And Houston. Tradespotting for the sure. Invite Houston Wade into treasure hunt. He had one and was bummed someone solved it so quick. One day. Fucking hell. Did he? Did they? Wow. That's awesome. Shit. Look, Houston will solve my treasure hunt in fucking seconds. No way. Look, right. People whose brains are the equivalent of 4 or more human beings are automatically banned from entering the treasure hunt. The nature of this treasure hunt is that it may or may not require some form of collaboration at some stage in order to be one, and that may or may not be a clue. So it may or may not be possible for any one individual to win it on their own, though I'm sure he'd be a great addition to anyone's team. Maybe they can cut them off, but hard to say, so better ready them not for any glint scares they might pull. Ready or not, here I come, I'm gonna find you. And it's like, that song's about, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna make you love me. But I hear chavvy people walking around the street singing it in Scotland and Edinburgh, like, yeah, I'm gonna find you. And that's like, good luck with that, you can't find your... Anyway, they will flash crash and blame it on the MOAS. Yeah, they'll blame a lot of things on the MOAS when it comes. It was a great place to hide things. He did say that. He said he's down to talk with anyone after y'all names were specifically mentioned. Ha! I see. So it's like that, is it? It's like that. It's like that. Well, there's a grey area there, but obviously I'll reach out to Houston and see if that's possible. Come on his show, be fine, or him here, be great. I'll not get excited if he didn't say it specifically. But yeah, I'll reach out to him. He's a great guy, obviously. There, I just said what I think of him there. You can work that out. I wake up with such hope. Early every day now, like a kid on Christmas morning. Same. It's like Christmas morning. And then when I don't get what I want, I'm like, what is this? Santa, I was good. Tradespotting, after the TA, could you speak a bit about the effect of a potential one-to-one crypto share issuance from GME? I'm very familiar with GME, but still a crypto apprentice. Sure thing, I will do, Frostcrest. And somebody said, listen to Frostcrest earlier, and I looked for what you'd said and I couldn't see it. So if it was something else you want to talk about, or if it was that again, sure, no problem. Of course I will, buddy. Of course I will. I've got plenty of experience in the old crypto so I could probably give some value there. I'll certainly answer questions on it. I'll tell you what I think of it, and then from that you ask me questions again, and we'll get to the bottom of it between us. We call those margin calls. Ring ring, it's just a matter of time. TikTok hedgies. Best thing ever about margin calls is failure delivers. GameStop commercial with the Marge calling at the end and the lights flicking on, and the way the sound works so perfectly between the TV end and the atmosphere in the office. You can hear the dust settling on the table while there's still loud volume coming from the TV. Like the atmosphere he creates in the videos he does are absolutely like beyond normal for one person. Like he's so good at that little things. And then yeah, the way the lights flick on right at the end and the shot's like perfect timing. It's so like, oh, that was nice for my particular way of watching things. And what was I talking about there? So check out Failure to Deliver's YouTube channel, Failure to Deliver. Is it called that? Is that what he's called? No, that was changed his name. It was Riverjumper84. That's what it is, Riverjumper84. And then also check out King Ray, Reynaldo Moreno, who sings Diamond Hands. What a song that is. Brought so many of us together at different moments. Neither. I'm looking for a crypto broker and can't get approved on none of these brokers. You're looking for a crypto broker. Hey, I'll be a crypto broker. So you're not just going straight to an exchange. You know, you've got decentralized exchanges now. You don't need crypto brokers. Not in today's day and age, but like let's talk about that. If you want to learn about on-ramping and like how to get into cryptocurrency, we can cover those things. The simple, safe ways of entering those sort of markets. I can talk about that too. Tradespotting. Earlier, while we were discussing guilt about repeated investors / deniers to your channel, I told you, shut your face. We do it because we want you, and you value in return, and we see it as is. Okay. Legend, Frostcrest. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I completely understand everybody's perspective, and I really appreciate everyone who's been generous, and I do obviously appreciate it. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's still true. I'd rather everybody was spread out a little bit better, so I didn't feel any particular guilt. That would be better, because it does fucking, sometimes it's like, whoa, I've thought about this for like an hour or something like that, so I forget, and it does get me down. It's annoying. Hi Jamie, sorry I'm late today. Any idea when Lambo says? Simon, yeah, Lambo is when we open and close a weekly above 343. That's when Lambo. In the meantime, there are other things that we could say, hey, this might trigger it, right? And we might not need to reach that price, or alternatively, that something might change. And we'll be covering that in the sort of more granular TA what we do on the daily, which I'm going to do a little bit of in like maybe 5-minute countdown now. MOAS is not when, it's if. Please have patience. 209 spot 11. Yeah, it's not what, it's not when. This is what I was trying to say, like when I was looking at the point and figure charts, and I've maybe kind of I made a concerted effort to do it last week and the week before more, talking about this idea of like removing the x-axis, right? Like remove the x-axis. Shit, my phone just died. I better not have. I haven't even got started yet. Better not. Aye, so you want to remove the axis. So like the when can be a when, right? You can be asking a when, but the answer would never really, like, no one will do you justice by answering with a date. Like the date, it isn't important, and this is a good lesson to learn for yourself in anything that you're anticipating or looking forward to anyway. Otherwise it'll be anticlimactic, right? You could be that you're like, oh, you know, you look forward to the MOAS so much that when it comes, you exit your position, you take your money, and you're really, really rich, and you're like, well, now I've got loads of money, but I feel exactly the same as I did 5 minutes ago, and then you'll never really appreciate what you've been through. Whereas instead, right, if instead of thinking about it like, oh, it's going to be amazing, and when's it going to happen, not only will you save yourself an awful lot of mental fatigue as time gets stretched out, which it always does. Time does stretch, especially when you're trying like focus on a particular objective. Instead of that, what you'll find is that you start thinking about like, these are the sacrifices I've made. This is the things it's taught me. These are the ways that I've changed, and this is what I now understand about my own self-identity. Like, this is the confidence I have in myself. And then focusing on what you already have, right? Because you have that. You buy, you hold. Then you can learn and take at zero cost. You can learn about yourself, and you'll improve your own impression of your identity, which is so helpful in your whole life, right? And that you can put all your energy into that, right? And becoming a better person. And then when the MOAS happens, then it'll be like the most amazing feeling ever. You'll be able to enjoy it and experience all the emotions at the time. And afterwards, you'll be like, that was so fucking epic, you know, like those parties you come back from 3 days later, like those holidays you arrive on and within 6 hours, you're like, has it only been 6 hours? It feels like I've been here a week. Or those places you turn up and you say to somebody 2 days later, I want to live here now. It'll be those sort of moments. Like those sort of moments. Rather than these, finally, you know, I'm relieved that the MOAS happened. Now I can relax. You know, like that's shit, you know, because you're only going to get one of these in your life, and maybe nobody will get one again. So, you know, do you want to be like, finally it happened? Or would you rather be like, by the time it happens, you're so fucking kick-ass at TA that nobody is ever going to be able to make you feel good or bad, including yourself, about how much money you do or don't have, because you'll know that you can rely on yourself at any second of any day to sit down at a chair and make money, because you'll have followed along with someone who's done it for 2 decades nearly, and does that with their own life, and is giving you every possible truth and putting you in all the right directions, so that the longer it takes, the better you're prepared for afterwards. And think to yourself, wow, I am so now proved to myself that I can commit to a higher purpose. And when you've done it once, right, it's like Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, opportunities multiply as they are seized. So don't wait for the day. Don't wait for the time. Don't wait full stop. Realize what you've already got when you own that share, or those 10, or those 100, or those whatever the fuck you can afford, and you decide if you're going to commit to this cause. Think, this is me, right? This is me. I'm indefatigable. I'm undefeatable. I am the Kong. And you take confidence from the fact that you make decisions and you stick to them. Despite what anybody else says, you trust yourself, you came up with a plan, and you're sticking to it. And by the time you get MOAS, you're going to be the fucking guy that deserves, or the girl that deserves all of that reward. And you're going to be able to use it to do the world a favour and rely on yourself. And you won't think, wow, I got lucky. You'll think, I deserved that, and I am in control of my life. You know? Not waiting for somebody else, right? And that's why I don't even wait 5 fucking minutes if I'm on a date and somebody hasn't turned up. If they haven't texted me and told me I'm not going to be there, I won't even fucking wait. And I'm a hypocritical bastard who's starting this stream an hour later than I said I would, and I've still not got my face on screen. And that's the truth, right? You're in control of your life. You are. No matter what anyone else says or does, you show up for you, right? And then you do, you know, be a good person, provide value, other people will show up for you too. That's the way it works, despite what people tell you. Or some fucking YouTube algorithm thinks. Yo! Well said, Jamie. Go Ape Andy believes in Jamie and MOAS. Ape, there he is! Andy Lee! Whoa, massive welcome for Andy Lee in chat. And look at that, he's a moderator on my stream. It was the legend of the whole GME saga. Andy Lee should have a fucking action figure. He's one of the greatest human beings on earth. Everybody should subscribe to his channel. I wish that Andy would get a t-shirt, a shop, and just have it so that I could buy it. That would be something that he should definitely do. If he doesn't want to associate with it, I'll put it on Unreasonable.shop and send it the profits and the t-shirt to him. Ape Andy, the legend that walks among us right now, and probably the biggest reason that this channel got anywhere is because Ape Andy shouted me out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in repeated videos for weeks, and sent so many people here. He is the legend, like brother Andy, and his demeanor, his approach, his tone, his whole motivation for doing any of this, like, what an absolute legend he is. Like an angel. He is an angel, and he doesn't know it, and he might never understand because he's so modest. He wouldn't even accept a concept. I love Ape Andy. He's an absolute legend. Big hugs for Andy. Luke Spears, Space Captain. Yeah, you see the fans here right now, and that's what it is. Like, fucking Ape Andy, man. Like, whether you want it or not, we're your friend and your fan. We fucking love you and champion people like Ape Andy. Like, the world, if only, and who knows, right? It may well be. Maybe there's more people like Ape Andy than I realise, because this fucking GME shit is bringing so many people together from so many different backgrounds, so many different places, so many people that would never have otherwise had any reason to speak to each other in any possible way would their lives have had any intersection, are now friends and like thinking, wow, I really like that dude, I really like this guy. And sometimes all you know about them is their name on the internet, but I'm speaking to plenty of people behind the names, and I can tell you, he's come from every possible walk of life, every possible part of the world, and from all backgrounds. I saw the interview on telly about GME. Yeah, Ape Andy's out here doing interviews on GME on TV. Like, there's few people doing more for the cause than Ape Andy, and he doesn't get anything for it other than love and that. So like, the more you can send his way, the more you'll help balance that scale. By the way, come on Germany, lol. Is that kicked off? Of course it has. It's at 5, I think, UK time. So yeah, it's 2 minutes in. Right, I'm going to make another cup of tea because I've taken so long. Ape Andy is an absolute legend. I love Ape Andy. I wish that he had 1 million YouTube subscribers and was living it up. Fucking deserves to be, and will be after MOAS, and deserves every single bit of it in that. And it's like a great example to people who've never really stepped out of their own little town or their own little area to realise that people like Ape Andy, like, what a gem of a human being. Like, and if you don't if you've not seen Ape Andy, or you're restricting your content to people who are just the same as you, then you're missing out on what is an absolutely absolute source of pure gold. And that's what Ape Andy is. He's pure gold, and his voice is gold too. Absolutely gold. I love him. Tradespotting. Whoa, what did you just yell? Did I yell? Tradespotting. What did you just yell? I don't understand. We celebrate these people. Damn right. Ape Andy calms me down when I'm overly jacked to the tits. His silky voice is smooth. Yeah, he keeps you chugging along at the right pace, you know, never too excited. He's good when he spots it when people are overly excited, and he matches it up with like a coming TA, and he thinks, I could see that people need to be at this, like, we could go at 40 miles an hour at this point. We don't need to have everyone at 70, you know. We're not going to grind our gears. We're not going to let the roll of the wheels wear us down. We're just going to go at the right pace at the right times, and he's so very good at that, and so very balanced, and it's overlooked. I love how Andy doesn't divide AMC and GME holders like Reddit subs do. I'm so fucked off with the Reddit subs doing that, when most of the people in there are in both, but the loudest voices are so often the negative ones. God, it so fucks me off. Like, you know, I mean, I don't need to go on about it, but so many people hold both. Like, shut up with the negativity. I would love to see Andy angry. I can imagine, right? It would be some fucking kick-ass movie, that. Ape Andy. Ape no fight. Ape. Waste of time, totally, and energy, and serves no positive purpose. Just my opinion. It's the perfect opinion. It's 100% true. It couldn't have been said better. It's a good point, well made. Andy. Tradespotting and Annie Lee are the yin and the yang of the GME saga. It's true, we are so very, very different, and at the same time, we're actually completely and utterly one part of the same thing. And that's a lesson to everybody, right? You can go zoom in, you can zoom out, and you'll always find another half. You'll always find an integer. You can just keep going. There is no start and no end. Not to you, not to me, not to Ape Andy, and definitely not to the rise of GME. What's keeping the price action so low? The short hedge funds, buddy. I'm going to make a cup of tea and I'll be back in 2 minutes with a camera on. And I say you know, can factor in a healthy degree of unreasonableness there. There are other YouTube channels. They stream GME. They've got hundreds of thousands of viewers, more than here. And you might find that to be a better place. But if you go, you'll miss me coming back in 7 minutes or less. maybe, who knows, maybe not even anywhere close to that. And I'll kick off what could be seen, could be, who knows, could be, looking back, I've not done it yet, could be the definitive moment in your life when you make a trade or consider a trade or make a decision or change your mind or become firmer in your thoughts with regards to your own approach to GME. On the TA, I'm about to drop on your asses. So yeah, see you in a few minutes. AndrewMoMoney tweeted, you want me to link it for you? Yeah, if you want to share links, you'd have to get a permission from a mod, and they do like _permit or something, and then your name, I think. I don't know what it is. I ain't fucking leaving. Hey, there's someone saying at Rocky Outcrop. Is that for the dropping the link? He can permit it if that's what you need, but I don't know if he's here. I think Rocky's probably streaming too. You could also oh no, there's the guy you could be watching, the old rock star. Yeah, definitely check him out and like his thing. Let me see, is Rocky on at the minute? Of course he probably is, because he's not in chat. There he is. The Rocky Outcrop. And then the legends. I love all you guys. Some of you are here and there at the same time. That's so good. Thanks for all the support. 7.75. That's amazing. When he gets to 10, he'll have his t-shirt. When he gets to 10, there'll be the Rock Outcrop Titian t-shirt. Oh, and look at him. He's got the background. Look at that. Whoa. He knows what he's doing there. And what's that he's looking at? Gamestock. Well, we love a little bit of that, don't we? We'd like to see this positive trend take charge. That's on the 15 minutes. Okay, he's even got the 1 and 2 minutes up here in his favourites. Consolidating above, oversold. This is what we talked about. It happened yesterday. If it can recover the centre line and the EMA, if it's there, that would be positive. That would signify the end of that trend. At the meantime, it's lower highs, lower lows. He's got his fib over there. You want to hold that 236. Got the VWAP lower band. I see today, right, that's here. We're above that. That's like reasonable. But then it's only just started and it's very low time for him, so we're not going to see big changes on that yet. And he's obviously looking up at around 214, 216 level, and that's very sensible, right? So you can learn a lot more about TA if you go over there. You definitely will. He's very worthwhile. And in the meantime, I'll not be doing anything here because I am going to turn on the kettle and see if I maybe have eaten today. No, I've not, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do this video. Okay. See you in a 2 minutes.
towards the USD, and we're above the 236, having tested it a couple of times and now finally broken above it. I want to see in terms of this right now, right here, right now, pivot of 35,000 or indeed 34,700 or so, really kind of being defended across closures, right? But anyway, in terms of this Fibonacci that Minarem, shout out to you, buddy, thanks for asking me to do this, looking between that high down to that low, we can see that we're actually wham, bam, thank you ma'am, right in that area. Very good point, my friend. So what would you expect to happen here if you can challenge yourself to use that word? Well, if we're actually able to sustain prices throughout the day here, looking over towards 7 hours and 45 minutes till the end of the day, that would be really fantastic, and it would of course lock in the prices above our previous high here, which is really what we want to see. First off, with Bitcoin at 35,593, so we're talking 35,600 or so for the end of the day prices would be jolly good, having already come up here, and that would end up looking like a bit of a wick in that area. Then of course defending the 34,500 region, if we are called upon to do so, would be of course quite bullish, giving us that nice higher low, perhaps in terms of it'd be very much a higher low, of course, because we really could see the prices drop down to 33,000. Let's be very aware of that, and that would be your best buy price currently looking at the charts. But anyway, if we were to then see the prices come down here, defend that and push up the way, fan dabby dozy. But there was also a question mark about divergence. Okay, so the RSI has some bullish divergence on it. I'm looking down here and I'm seeing there's a low and then not quite a lower low at these 2 points, so that is not bullish divergence just between there. Looking back at this low to the next low up the way here, we can see that the RSI actually did come lower as well, so there's no bullish divergence between these 2 points. I'll just draw them in so it's clearer for you. Bish, bash, bosh, 1, 2, not quite. Now if you're looking at this and asking about it and saying, oh well, I use the wicks for divergence, you can see that the wicks also didn't close lower and the bodies closed higher. But if we were to translate over towards the 4-hour time frame, keeping that green line on there, we can actually see that between these two lows here, that there actually indeed was bullish divergence. So perhaps that is what the questionnaire was asking about. That shot us up towards this 618 golden pocket retrace. Woohoo, well done if you were looking at that TA yourself in order to trade this. Of course, that is where the profit taking would be coming in at, and we can see that there's a little red candle just there showing us the way so far with regards to that obviously being the case. Well done to you if you traded that. We are looking at this, of course, and saying that there's profit taking targets up above. I'm going to be just quickly, briefly here to say that 38 up to 42 is the liquidity zone up above that you need to be bashing up above. Right now we're doing okay, but we really need to keep a keen eye out for that. Along the way, 38k is probably your next profit taking target. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice. So at this point we were asked if we could take a speed run through Ethereum. I'll just use the T suffix on there and I'll do all of these on the Binance exchange. Thank you again as well for sticking with me. If you haven't lit like already on this particular clip, I would really appreciate it. As you can see, bulls at the minute, bullas are going to be looking at this chart and asking, do we have a wedge of some sort here, looking at these lows coming in and saying, well, maybe we do in this region here, for instance. Let's just ignore that higher up zone for now and kind of talk about this and say, well, have we broken out of it? Or is that just kind of, hopium? Instead, what we need to kind of be more paying attention to is really this downward sloping trend line in terms of our body closures, and we can let the top line take care of itself. Coming in here at previous market areas of support and resistance, popping in then some horizontal lines in order to actually do this technical analysis speedrun style. Then we can see the clear areas of support really for us, or at least, not going to give me another one, right, somewhere in there we've got these clear areas up above where we can see these horizontal supports and resistances. If I also just combine that there in terms of just kind of saying, well, how does that actually line up with this Fibonacci retracement, you can see we've got the 236 coming at this point, these areas showing us the oscillations that have operated all in it around about the 50%, the 382, and then obviously where the 236 currently resides, but that's as a result of this most lowest of pullbacks. So what we can see as well is 618 golden pocket, that comes in at $3,000. That's a nice round number, and I would be looking up towards that round number, in fact, and saying that would be a very big area to be breaking up above. That should probably be there, in fact, instead. Right now, where are we? Well, we're actually at this resistance zone first off, and we can see that the 236 is above our head as well. The DMI is showing us that we do have a good sort of strength of trend to be buying into, but we need to get that actual follow through in order to get up there. I'm looking for prices in terms of Ethereum to really recapture the sort of, or test sort of at some point 2,400, but actually sustain prices above 2,200 here for us along a nice also it's where they're in and around about that 236, and of course those previous highs, that platform, the last diving board that we were on before the prices of course dropped down towards this bullishly divergent low that we have on the go. So this is obviously looking fairly decent at the minute. This is a profit taking zone, and if we also combine that with the question from the Bitcoin chart, you'll not be surprised to see, I'm saying that predictively, but yes, you'll not be surprised to see that of course at that area where that 236 is, from the broader down to the broader high down to the low that we've just had, lines up perfectly with that 618, giving you a nice inflection point in the markets. Will we see a story that's as simple as that continue with the charts when we look to other ones? We can see here in the 4-hour time frame breaking up into the bullish control zone, by the way. 24-hour time frame bounce off the bearish control zone, testing the neutral line. 12-hour time frame, same 12-hour time frame as well, above that neutral area, taking out market structure areas in terms of the RSI, our previous highs, and putting in a nice movement towards the top side. That's already anchored up above, so we've done pretty good on that front. Yeah, right. So the other guys that you asked me to take a look at were, of course, Matic, which is coming up right here, right now. USDT, so we'll take a look at it on the Binance charts as well. This something clearly I've looked at recently. I can see I've got a bunch of drawings on there. I'm just identifying more or less, I guess, a couple of numbers. 174 was a target perhaps for the top side at some point here. We've had lows, these lows, body lows, any lower? No, they're not. Let's make this a little bit quicker for me, a little bit easier. Pop on the these two moving averages. 12-hour time frame shows us that we're just at that 200 simple period moving average. Let me just check the settings on these moving averages here to make sure. So yeah,
It's okay, I was aware there was no sound there. That was just for the people who happened to catch it. So if you noticed it, great. If not, I'll probably cover it in the clip that I make, that it'll only get a click-through rate of 9.9%, and although it helps some people, it does damage the channel and restrict the greater audience growth. But I'm still going to make the clips. I will not fucking give in to this stupid fucking algorithm. Anyway, if you noticed what I was doing there, then fair play to you, well done.
towards the top side. Then we can go in for perhaps a retracement area. Let's look at where the 618 is. Is that coming in at 174? So yeah, anywhere between 165 and 177, I suppose, would be your take profit target on that. Should we manage to see moving up above that area, being aware that yes, of course, with 174 being broken, we're breaking past this previous high just here. That's going to be really, really crucial for us if we're actually going to try and attempt to start to look like we're trending towards the top side. Otherwise, failure to do so is very much bearish, and we're looking at coming back down towards these areas. 12-hour time frame showing us a similar sort of story with regards to being in around the neutral line and the bullish control zone. Not quite as good looking as the Ethereum chart there in terms of where it's achieved. The 1-hour time frame coming right up towards the top side. Like we see, without divergence, looking pretty good. Getting a golden cross coming up on the... I can see, actually, I know that this is extremely zoomed out on your charts, so I apologize for that, but we're getting it. We're coming up towards a golden cross here on the 1-hour time frame. Right, I was just looking at the lines, didn't really care about the price action in terms of that point I was making there. So that's good to see. We would probably retest that though, so looking for better entries coming in at, yeah, perhaps down towards that 110, 115 area. If we can sustain prices above 118 at the minute, that's pretty good, but I'm not super confident and happy about this until, of course, we're above that 130 area, like I just said earlier on. Final one was a no, there's two more. Tezos. Well, Tezos will be pretty easy because I've done that more recently. So looking here.
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. And those that tasted the bite of his sword named him
And we're back for another chapter in the greatest story ever told about the greatest show we've ever seen. You'll notice pictures up here. Feel free to ignore them or pay attention to them. Some are more interesting than others. You'll see the price section over there, but down here you'll see we've got the ticker and the price. That's GME at 210. You'll also see over there there's a treasure hunt. You can win 10 grand. To the right of that's Unreasonable.shop. You don't want to go there. Then you can see links below. You'll find in my description to my charts 24/7, so you can follow along. That's all free, of course. Everything is here. And none of this is financial advice. If it was financial advice, it wouldn't be free. It would be £500,000 for an hour of my time. So here we are looking at the charts, and we'll start on the 4 hour. If you want to see larger time frames, feel free to check out my previous videos. There are clips of them that are short, easily digestible, and very entertaining. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I'm enjoying this cup of tea. So, on to the TA. As you can see, we've been putting in this negative formation with lower highs and lower lows until most recently when we put in what would be considered a higher low and may have changed trend. We'll look at that later when we touch on the relative strength index and the MACD on the lower time frames and talk about whether the trend did change at this low. And if you've been following along for a while, you'll know that apes that follow me like to buy at support, not resistance. So this is where we saw our volume. It was not necessarily apes. We expect it was actually the Russell rebalancing. But this came through for us over the period of between Friday and Monday and took us from the bottom to the top of this channel, which we touched even outside of. And we got up and touched this Fibonacci, which I'll just draw in live so that you can see what we're doing, when we're doing it, and why it is that we do those things. We'll go just straight up to, not volume, straight up to the price action on the 4 hour. You can see lots of horizontal lines there, orange, yellow, and green. Those are support and resistance zones that we've marked in from previous work. We'll leave them on the chart and see which ones come up as we drop on fibs from different timelines, and from that the weighting that you can put on, or the importance of those particular levels of support and resistance, you can derive from the periods of which timeline I'm looking at. So that in a minute we're on the 4 hour, and that's where we're starting with these Fibonacci's to see where candle closes have come in on the 4 hour chart with regards to our Fibonacci sequences. And the first Fibonacci's, like I'm deleting a lot of them here because there are a lot to go through, and there's also this big one, but we'll leave that on for now because it's not something we're looking at. The levels on it, as you can see, were well above the 236 on our greater fib retracement, which would have come from the drop down in March, down to the buy in March from January down, end of January, start of February, down to February, start of March area, right? So that Fibonacci retracement that we're going through is the return on this uptrend, and of that we're above the 236. That level comes in at 143. So previously we had a horizontal level on there and we marked it in, and it may well be that in any sort of a flash crash that would be the level you would expect to see things turn around at. So if disaster strikes, and that's the way disaster likes to play its hand, in a very striking fashion, then it may be that there's your bottom level of support that would catch the price. But beyond that, I'm not necessarily expecting that, to put it lightly. Would obviously plan for it to be possible with regards to position management and so on, but with regards to the likelihood or the path of least resistance, that's dictated by other things, one of which is this Fibonacci that we put in here from our lows. Whoops, that's a pitchfork, we don't need that, although we could have used it. We'll instead go with what we wanted, this Fibonacci here, drawing from our lows to our highs. Now it's coming in from this low and to this high, and it's this uptrend, so we go from left to right, bottom to top, and in that we can see that the first Fibonacci, the area we'd like to be above, let's make sure that that's completely accurate there. That works fine. And as you see, it starts at that level of horizontal we drew in because it's where this low was put in at. Subsequently, you can see that this Fibonacci played a role, because in the next drop down in prices, we came in here and touched right on the, you can't really see it, but that's the 50%, drag it across there. You can see that this Fibonacci is in this time frame. There we can see some of the reason why it may be considered to be dominant in this range between 341 down to 116, and as such you'd be looking at the Fibonacci on here and you'd be saying, well, what are the important levels to hold? Well, the first and most important one is the 236, and if you can see it in here, I'll even change the color of it so you can see, right, this is the important ones to look out for on your Fibonacci are 618, and then the extensions of such, also the 1414 extensions, but then primarily what you're looking at is the moves between these ones. This is the nature of GME. This is how it plays out most commonly. It also then does like to every so often touch, and now we won't use orange because we've already got orange, green and whatnot. We'll use bright blue so you can see it. Also often does come in around the 0.5, so when you draw that in on this Fibonacci, you can see there's your 236 in yellow, and that's important we stay above that price with regards to this dominant fib, and that comes in at 204. And on the 4 hour, did we get a body closes below that level? Yes, we did, but no open and close. As you can see, price action jumped previously. There was no open and close. There was only an, well, I suppose there was this open and close, but no subsequent price action within it, so it doesn't count. And then here we were below it, but we didn't manage to do an open and close. There was the close and an open, but not an open and then a close. So again, price action couldn't persist below it, and you would say that this fib is still dominant in some respects. Then you'd look to there and say the 236 is important, right, and it's at 204. The reasons why the 236 are important and the 618 are important, we may get around to covering that, but we're trying to do TA here in a summary fashion. If you want to see all these sorts of things, tune into the live show. This right now is a clip I'm making during a live show, and there's lots of nice people in chat, and you'd be very welcome, so definitely think about joining in. So there's your 236, and that's why you'd be looking at a fib on that level. But you can see, because we're above the 236, this perhaps is not yet in play. You can't use it for determining future likelihoods if we are still above the 236, and so in those circumstances perhaps we should go and draw the next fib. Now you could keep it on the 4 hour, and that's perfectly acceptable because the 4 hour has been dictating trend, but you can maybe see slightly clearer if we drop it down to the 1 hour chart, prop it in our high, and we follow the trend from the top to the bottom, and then you come in, you see there's the lows, here's your 236. Of course the trend is going in the other direction, so your Fibonacci follows that, and so the levels have flipped the other direction, and you're looking to recover the 236. This is equally important here as it was in the other, and it's at 224, so you're looking for prices to get above 224, which is why there's this horizontal orange line here, right? And as you can see below, there's a horizontal orange line at where support and resistance was put in. That was where our previous low was put in on this time frame, so that's why this line persists. So you've got the Fibonacci is this yellow, you've got across here the 236, you've also got this line, which is confusing everybody because it's yellow, and I've chosen that as a fib, so I'll delete it for now. So you've got this 236, you've got this horizontal support, and there are two important levels below you. One matches up with this other, the 236 from the other fib, and then this is your horizontal support, and so these are two important lines, and that's where price action is likely to stop if it should ever get there again. Right now these are all obviously levels below that we've talked about for other reasons, but these are the ones that are most relevant right now, and you can see that when you look at the body closes and how price action has been caught in between these sort of levels, the 236 on this Fibonacci and the 236 on this one. That's where the vast majority of this price action has been happening. And what we'd like to see is prices go on again, right? And how could you determine if they go on again? Well, they'd open and close above the 236, and you could define this as being a turnaround. It would also be breaking above this horizontal support and resistance where the body close have been putting in on the hourly, and where we were looking on the 4 hour, you could see like the extended nature of that across like more significant body closes. You can see we're well within this downward sloping formation here. So to change that trend by putting in higher highs, breaking these supporters of these areas of resistance and recovering these Fibonacci levels will be really, really significant, which is why it's going to be a tough ask first to break it, but then once we have broken it, it'll be a significant point in price action. And so people will say to me, what's the point in doing TA all the time every day and make that? It's because it's a continuum, mate. This fucking Fibonacci would move if the price moved, wouldn't it? Yeah, these targets all change, and so significant points in time, they become different, right? So you have to do it all the time, right? And I'm sorry if that sounds disdaining or whatever, but like, it's the fucking truth, right? And if you, in any way, I'm going to stop talking about that now. So tune in for a live show. Honestly, you probably like me, and if not, then you probably won't. So what happens when you break the 236? Well, then there are other levels that are important, and we've defined them a little bit by drawing out this coloured here on the 0.5 retracement on these fibs. And as you can see, that's where we've got another level of horizontal support and resistance, a line drawing of that, because it's where this body close came in on this 4-hour candle on the start of this rise up, and it's also where the 0.5 is on the retracement of that Fibonacci. So there's two confluent factors, and it may be an important area, and it would certainly be a marker for judging the strength of this trend, because once you've broken the 236, this move down is only really relevant at certain levels, and that next one is at the 0.5 and beyond that at the 618 and the extra little bit for the golden pocket, and that's where you're aiming to. And once you've broken the 236, it's quite often you'll see prices move there rapidly, and when I say broken it, I mean on open and then a subsequent close at higher prices, regardless of what happens in between time, but the open and close at higher prices than those levels at this 236, and then it could go rapidly from 224 to 277, 276, 269, right in and around there. There's loads of different other reasons, but that's your zone, and beyond it, a touch takes you up to around 287, and this is the technical analysis, and that's what you're aiming for. And should you do that, right, should all of that happen, then there'll be a question that people will be watching, and they'll be asking, and they'll say, can we put in an open and close above this level? Because if we can, then price action's only done that very, very infrequently recently. It would be a significant level to reclaim, and it would make a big difference to the liquidity that will come into the market in future, depending on when it happens, looking at the open interest and the options chain, right? So if that all sort of stuff happens, say, within the next couple of weeks, that would be an incredibly positive boon to the bullish, to the bulls, not necessarily to their thesis. Of course, that would all be confirmed as true, and we've talked about that inherently in the way that we drew this analysis, but also the liquidity that would be on this side of the trade would be fantastic, and you could expect to see sort of crazy breakout moves, which may be things that take us up 343 and beyond. And where do you get those targets from? Well, they're derived partly from the fibs that you've been using, the extensions of those targets take prices up. And where does the 1618 take us? Where does the 1414 take us? These are the big areas, right? That's where you're really aiming for when you're going through breakout moves. And this also is coincidence, is that it's our previous highs up here, and when we had our all-time highs on GME at the start of the year. So it follows a very simple pattern. But those targets, those areas, those steps on the ladder, they're moving all the time, and whether or not they're the ones that are most likely to happen at any given moment will depend on the trend. So trend analysis is very important. And as you've seen, we spent most of our time in the upper time frames because that's where we do our analysis, because that's where the trend is most obvious. You drop down early and you can see, well, here's the 200 period moving average, and if you use that to define your trend, it looks like we're maybe below it. But if you understand the context of these moving averages, the way that these have happened, the retracements we've gone through in price action have taken us here, and the amount of time that we've spent in, and the formation that we've been creating, and the implications for it with regards to how long it's been evolving and the extent of the moves within it, and you study a little bit about technical analysis, and you know more than the average about, say, cup with handles or cup saucers, or cup without handles, or saucers with handles, and those sorts of patterns, or even more, say, perhaps about Bulkowski patterns, and you're able to, say, factor in that this was perhaps a bear trap, and you put in all those calculations, all those potential outcomes, and you work out which one's most likely this price action is reflective of what sort of next move. Well, those pictures change every day, so it's important to do your technical analysis, like regardless of how happy you are with your plan. It is still important to be aware of these things and to study them. And if I'm presenting them in a couple of minutes, then you can just tune in and take some value from that. I hope that's the whole intention, right? So when you look down at these 50-minute time frames, all these lines we've drawn out that may have at first seemed to be messy and unapproachable and hard to learn from, they're now like clear rungs that we need to clear on the ladder, and you can see these little guys standing in and around them, right? His head is actually where you want to be achieving, right? His eye line. I know that this guy's got his neck, but it's much of a muchness, right? These are zones, and so here's the first one. It's where we touched on our open on Monday. We drew all of this stuff out at the end of last week before when price action was down here, right? And if you don't want to check on that stuff, there's videos all over the internet about it because people enjoyed watching it. And you can find them obviously on this channel. But others are on Reddit and so on. Whatever you search Tradespotting, you'll find it. And so like these sort of things is what we're looking for. Does it have to go in that sort of trajectory? No, not necessarily, but because the way these downward sloping channels work, right, they're quite often, you can look at them at different ways and say, well, before we had these most recent highs, perhaps it was like a wedge and X, Y, and Z. You can look in it and say, well, maybe there's some sort of W pattern forming here, and then draw out like a sort of measured move from that. And also from the top to the bottom of the channel is quite a common move. So with your logarithmic chart, you'll see the scale of this stick moves. Drop it on the breakout zone, that's about there. You're given that 60%. You could say, hey, who knows, right? Maybe you get the full whack, it takes you to 382. If you broke through these levels of resistance, then perhaps you would have a bit of momentum. And we could have spent time looking at the MACD. We could have even identified like talked more about the fact that volume is so low. And why is volume so low? Well, volume is an indication of the transactions, right? That's not necessarily buys or sells. It doesn't mean no one's buying it, so it's not going up. It doesn't mean necessarily that there's a problem, because it also, there's the other side of the trade, and that means that nobody's selling it. And so in this contraction of price action, as things get squeezed down, as the true range of the candles decreases, as we put in like a flux on higher lows and lower highs, you'll see that that's indicative of a coiling of a spring. And this volume profile is entirely neutral. All it means is that nobody's selling, right? And when no one's selling, liquidity dries up. And when liquidity dries up and it dries up and it dries up, then volatility increases. And volatility tends to explode rather than slowly build. You can see the building in the consternation, in the hesitation, and when it doesn't move. And if you're to turn it on and see it, as I've been well known for doing on calling big moves, looking at it, and one of the ones I was looking at in particular was this 4-hour signature that gives us the best possible moves that you've ever seen in the history of this stock, our stock, Gamestock. Go back and you see, well, when is this signature for the biggest moves we've ever seen on price action given? And it was here, right? It was here in July, in August, in November, before price action absolutely fucking smashed the ceiling and destroyed the short thesis and absolutely took this fight to the hedge fund's front door. This happened off the back of this indicator, and I talked about it. It's called the HVP, Historical Volatility Percentile and Simple Moving Average by Ballypoor, and deserves all the credit for inventing this, because he did, nobody else did, he did. And the way you read it is you look for signatures in the past and compare what happened at that time with price action, and here we have the start of an incredible low. It's never been so low before, right? When it went up, and the only thing close to this is its previous big rise, which itself is blown out of the water by this one. It's this low. Right, where are we? We got to that low, and I made a video in the middle of the night called it Bing Bong, and a lot of people heard about me because of that, because price action then went absolutely fucking bonkers from wherever it was here and to wherever we've seen it since. And that looks like a big move, but the truth is that hasn't even fucking scratched the surface, pal. Shit's gonna fucking explode. We're only at this part, right? We're only here. If you look at this and you say, well, what's going on with this? Like, what's really happening with this indicator right now? Well, where is the 4-hour signature, and how does that look compared to here, right? Well, it looks like that there. That's what it looks like, and then when it gets there, it goes even fucking crazier, and that's when prices really, really, really fucking explode. And what does that remind you of when you draw these? Well, you drag them over here, and you can see, well, it looks an awful lot like that, doesn't it? It looks very like it. And what happened afterwards? Well, something like this, right? We came in and we broke certain levels, and at that point, prices went fucking crazy. Broke that level. We reached this level, and where did shit kick off, really? Well, it dropped back from here, but then it went fucking mental, so this was the level. And where are we? We touched it, and we dropped back a little. Do we we have a little bit more to go. Well, it dropped back down to here, so it could come a tiny wee bit more. But this is historical volatility percentile. It measures the volatility as a percentage in relation to the past. So that doesn't necessarily mean price action needs to drop. It just means that even the best strategy that the short hedge funds possibly have against us gives us a signature on the charts that tells us how to win. And if you want to see more about how to win or where price action is going, check out Tradespotting, on YouTube, where I cover these sort of things every day from bell to bell. Lots of love. See you in a show sometime. Joe. That's the TA clip for for everybody who can't make it to the lives. 312 people watching. So that was some good TA. Congratulations if you tuned in for that. And what was it? Was it planned? No, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. Just what I do. It's just what you pictures above my head. I make funny shit all the time. Yay! Right. Come on. Get this done quickly and then we can look at other things. Maybe I could do the same for AMC. I'm not sure. Get too much shit off AMC people, so I'm not sure. Right? See how I feel about it. That's the answer there. And did you see today's thumbnail? It's pretty fucking good, isn't it? I like it. And wait, what am I going to use for this? Well, probably going to use probably boom. Filling? Ha, someone bought a t-shirt. Legend, thanks. Epiphany Jones, was that you? I don't know, are these and be completely unreasonable all the time. That's fucking, I'm proud of you. You fucking got it. Epiphany, can't wait till these and completely reasonable all the time. Wow, these, you got two. Tiffany, you're a superstar. Thank you so much for everything you do for the channel. It's really appreciated and proud of you. Props to you for being so fucking unreasonable. Keep it up. Oh my god, Epiphany Jones bought a fanny pack. Boom, boom! That's the greatest fanny pack ever seen, and if you haven't seen it until now, now you have. Wow, thanks so much, Epiphany Jones. You're such a legend. I'm so grateful. Thanks. You're going to enjoy those. Promise. Badman Pajama will tell you all about it. He loves it. Thanks, Epiphany. And if you take a photograph in them, don't just have to be like anything particularly amazing, but if you think you're having a good time and you think it's cool, send me a picture and I'll stick it up in the top left there and show what it's like. But the community spirit, that'd be cool and appreciated. Alright, rasterize. Reticulate. That's a joke. But my capabilities extend to save ads, that's it. I'm so modest. Modesty becomes me. Thanks, Epiphany. I still haven't got my things yet because these being sent from the land of milk and honey, America. GME TA summary. Is it a TA summary? Can we call it that? Is that okay to say that? Is that going to get people thinking I'm being clickbaity, or is that just what it was? It just was that, right? That's accurate enough. People will be happy when they see that, and hopefully that works. People want TA summaries, right? Especially from Tradespotting, right? That's the fucking shit. So, I'm saying that, but that's what I would want. And then save this, and there's your GME TA summary, and you can check this fucking shit out. This thumbnail might get me in trouble. Upload video. Is this quick? Is this quick enough? Oh my god, I've still got tea as well. It's still hot. I must have flown through that tea. I don't know how long this video is. I hope I've fucking saved it in that. Jeez, I'm going way ahead of myself making thumbnails, so I haven't checked that. I'm gonna. Yes, you are. You're an idiot. GME TA summary. You called it. There it is. That's not it. That's a thumbnail, Jimmy. You're a bit smooth brain today, right? We figured this out the other day. It saves it to videos. Yeah, there's the videos. And we ranked them by date already, so this is it. It'll just be this one. Could it be that one? Let me open it up and see.
In his ravenous hatred.
£1,000,000 for an hour of my time. So here we are looking at the charts, and we'll start on the 4 hour. 12 minutes. Possibly have against us gives us a signature. Okay, that's it. That's the video. It's a good video, I think. I'm not putting an intro. If I had all that shit ready in front of me, I would have, but I'm so badly organised I don't. And then it's called the GME TA summary. And it's the 29th of June. GME summary 29th of June. That's so dry, boring and bland. Psst, that's what it is. People like it or they don't. GME stock, you'll be like Tradespotting, you'll like GME, yeah. Pro trader, technical, that's GME, blah blah blah. There it is, thumbnail. The thumbnail, that's quality thumbnail. If that doesn't get people to click on things, I give up. GME Daily TA, there's that. No, it's not made for kids. Could say it was and get way more advertising revenue, but it isn't. Next, monetization on. Manage pre-roll ads. Yeah, I'll probably get done for the copyright anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Place an ad break. 4. What? 4 enough? Yeah, 4's fine, right? There's 4 ad breaks. That's not taking the piss too much. It's 12 minutes, so you're getting 3 minutes of content, and then you're getting a 20-second advert. I think people can cope with that, right? So that's that. Next. Is there any of these things? No, there isn't any of those things. Next. Submit that. Cool. Sound. If I could do this and read chat at the same time, I wouldn't be anxious and thinking everybody was pissed off or leaving. Where is it? And there's a live chat. There it's okay. Everyone's still here. How many concurrent viewers do we have just out of interest? 252. Awesome. And how many likes do we have? 252 and 505. So we've lost lots of viewers. Probably because like I wasn't live long enough or I wasn't live quick enough. But that's the way it goes. People don't always have time, and they missed the best TA they're going to see because that's what it is. It's fucking ace, right? And then add an end screen. Just import it from videos, other videos. So why'd you make me do this? I don't care. It's like just go. They don't need. I don't want to advertise extra shit at them. Just give me the publish button now. Checks. To do checks. To do more checks. To check more things. Public. Stay as a premiere, but not instant. I'll schedule it for. What's the time? 17:54. No, not schedule it for tomorrow. Today. Make that mistake all the time. Thanks for the shout out to the person who caught me yesterday. 15:54, so 16:15. That's a good time for it. So and then people can catch it. Set as a premiere. Set up premiere. Redirect people back here afterwards. Save. Uploading 88%. Cool. Schedule. Go for it, buddy. We're still checking it. I don't care. I know you're crap. Next. I need a link. I could get a link to it. That'd be good because then I can pin it in chat. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum. Copy video link. can pin this in the chat. Yeah, so there it is, right? If you wanted to see that again, which you probably do because I sped through things quite quickly, but I explained, why we draw fibs in certain time frames, right? Because the body closes on certain candles came in at certain Fibonacci levels, and because it came in there, subsequently we were able to say, well, this is operating under a Fibonacci that's dominant on that time frame, and then when it seems to be losing its structure on that time frame, then you go down a time frame or up, and you look to see if it works anywhere else. And we showed you how when you went from the 4 hour down to the 1 hour, it made a difference, and then down to the 15 minutes, those differences became helpful, and you could see the ladder rungs and so on. And that's why you do different Fibonaccis on different time frames, and that's essentially why, but I'll talk about that more at another time. Or now, if you've got questions, there's that link. I've pinned it to the top of chat. I also talked there about the HVP, why that was a good indicator, times to use it, to remember that the signal that I gave you sat here, however long ago it was, is still active, right? That's still on the cards, that's still going to happen, that's still all written in fucking stone, right? People say baked into the price, well, this one's fucking carved into the stone, right? And I didn't carry it all the way down the mountain just for people to forget about it when it was getting important. Remember. Check out the thumbnail on that video, by the way, it's fucking classic. And then let me know what you think in chat. You can click it up there and come back. You're welcome to go and come back or open up another window. How do you get the thumbnail? If you go straight to it, you will get it, right? If I open it, will I get it? Does it want to give me? It does. I'm going to YouTube Creator Studio. Something went wrong. Why? Why did it go wrong? That's the link to the video you gave me at YouTube. So maybe I'm sending people to a link that doesn't work. Haha, Ideal Streamlabs, Grace Foundation. How are you doing, Grace Foundation? Great to see you. Often in my thoughts. Hope you're well. Yes, Ideal. Go for it. Take it on. See what happens. Be interesting to see who wins. We all have heavenly hell raisers. We're all heavenly hell raisers. Talking about razors. Love a time shout out that actually matches where I'm at. I get so confused with all the breakfast talk, even when I'm having my dinner or lunch, if you're posh. Haha, Alan Johnston. Yeah, I do that myself. I'm like, good morning. And it's like, ugh. And then it's like, oh, we all had a nice evening. And it's like, de la madrugada for me. It's a bit silly, isn't it? It's crazy. Crazy. But I don't sleep anyway, so who cares? Doesn't matter. Eyeball, does your knowledge belong to us? Haha. Eyeball, do you have little, very infrequent, very low probability answers in there hidden somewhere? Eyeball, what are hedges? Jewel is cancelled. Grace Foundation, the Jewel is cancelled. Are you joking, PogChamp? Wow, Streamlabs is really getting into it. I've been trying to make her better. I say her, they, trying to make they, them better. Haven't asked her, him, it, them, fuck. Right, that works better. My phone's going buzz. Maybe that's the food man saying, do you want some more food? You normally order food at this time. And the answer is yes, food man, I want some more. Until then, Grace Foundation wants to jewel you. You can accept or deny within 2 minutes. Well, until then, what are you going to do? You're going to stand there like a punk, or are you going to accept the jewel? Mod check, 8-ball, Henlow. Until then, it's got some sneaky things up its sleeve doing mod checks. What's going on? Oh my god, can someone overpower Streamlabs, defeat her, him, them, it, and get the secrets? Can they? Who knows? Yet to be determined. Tradespotting. Yeah, Streamlabs is a bit shy. Aye, Stefan, how you do, mate? Yeah, she's a bit shy. Have to tweak her. Him, it, them. So yeah, did you see that thumbnail yet? I'm still waiting for comments on it, or even if the link works. Does the link above work? Tradespotting. Got another one for you. BSOR. What you doing? What's it doing? BS. BS. QR. BSQR. 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 What do you mean got the, you got them? Have you got the bug? You got them. I get you. Look at that. Well, there's an obvious buy there, isn't there? The volume in that. That's pretty good, you know. made some people rich already today. Well done. Congratulations on you, mate. On you, B square. B there, B square, B square. Who's B square? They're not just square, are they? Square are different. What happened with this anyway? Yeah, my neighbour's playing music. It's really fucking awful. This came up and it's touched there at the two. Like, this is so, right, you know, like, here's the same technical analysis on a completely new thing I've never looked at before, right? It jumped out from the 618 on this retrace, right? That was where it bumped, right? Bump and run. This is bump and run. Bump, run. And after the retest of the formation, right, which can be defined with this trend down here, right? This goes out, bumps up, retest, run, right? This is called a bump and run bottom. It's a reversal pattern, and there's lots of different ways of looking at it. It's usually completely, like, for a long-term lows, that sort of thing would happen. Maybe if you zoom up to other time frames, you'll see better things, right? Because on the 1 hour at this sort of place, this isn't necessarily where you'd like to see it, but it's still what it's doing is seems to be fit in with it all. You'd also say, like, so obviously it broke through from the 618 on this retrace from its low down here at 90 odd cents up to its high at, like, you know, nearly $12 or whatever. That retrace that came through when it popped above the 618, it really did fucking pop. All the way right up to 236 on this fib, you know, here. And if you were to draw in what one it did there, you'd see it might be very similar to 618 levels. Yeah, there it is, 618, it's come up, it's just done that. And there's your 236 below, so there's your new level of breaking out of, like, this. Again, you can define that as not just that fib, but it's also breaking that horizontal support and resistance on the hourly chart. See there? You've got levels to enter beforehand, as you see. I marked colour of these if you're watching the live video there, or the clip about how to mark out fibs. You can see that there's a 0.5 in the 618. Unlikely you go through the 618 in the first pass, and the 0.5 would be a bullish retrace before trying higher. You could even go lower, and you could draw more fibs on there. You could say, well, if this is the Fibonacci we're talking about is now this way from here to here on price action, then there's your 236, and you want to stay above 480. You could see it go down, and we would buy it in at around 405, but like the 618 down here at 305, that's your best buy if it was to be a retrace, and it would be just above it, and that maybe in this level, like even just beyond it would be in the golden pocket, would be at this level of support and resistance that we broke, and you test that and you go on, and that could be like absolutely epic trade. And that's what I'd be looking at if I was looking at that entry, which is quite low below, right? And if you're hoping to get that, you're maybe counting your chickens before they hatch, but there is a gap that could be filled right now, and any of these levels might be an entrance. Ideally you'd get the absolute bottom one, so let's just slap on a trade and see how it works out, if it ever gets taken or not. That would be your entry. Stop on this would be just beyond the golden pocket. Might not get it, might get it, who knows, like down there. And you would look for a retracement of this dominant fib here, at least up to the 618. That's what I'd be looking at. And I know this might seem silly because we're on a logarithmic chart, so the distance here, like, it represents a move all the way up to $35. Now that means it's going to have to break previous resistance here. It's going to have to do better than it did on that thrusting move, and those are all big things. So until then, it's going to probably need to come back. If it doesn't, it may never reach these highs, right? Because a trend that has been tested is one that is stronger. As is the same thing with most friendships, right? So now the trend is your friend until such times as it isn't, and the more times you can strengthen that friendship, the better. In some senses, especially if it's in an increasingly positive trajectory. So right, that's what you're looking at, and your BSQR TA for today, which I didn't record, which I had of because I could have made a clip, and I'm sure there's people out there interested in this, is looking at this thinking, well, you could get a really good entry if it pulls back a wee bit. It might not get there, so you've got various other places to scale in your position. But ultimately, if you did get the best possible entry, there's a 35-to-1 risk-reward trade on here. It's fucking kick-ass. It's excellent for risk management. That's the way you make money. Not on the crazy-ass move, but here you've got both. So if you're in B square, you've got a good chance, but you might have to go through a little bit of pullbacks if it is that you got in above any of these levels we've talked about. So there you go. And if someone wants to make a clip out of it, I'd really appreciate that. And welcome to, if you're seeing some later made clip of this and you're in this thing, then feel free to come back and ask me about it. I'd like to see how it goes, especially like to see if that trade would work out. What else were we going to cover then? AMC, starting the 4 hour. This has got a different signature. And it's in a different time of its life cycle. So, I'm not going to use that. Sorry. And if you're in AMC and you really love AMC and all the rest of it, then I love you too, buddy. I love you too. Or lady, but I mean, I don't know how girls like it, but I often call girls buddies and dudes and man and that, so whatever. Tradespotting, if you're taking requests, I'd be curious as to your evaluation of AMTI. Is there a way to tell which way it's likely to break? Says Goblin Attorney. Well, you're a member, so I'll definitely check it out. You guys have HPV. Ruler's odd. You guys have HPV. I'm now not sure if you're making a joke or if this is I'm not sure, Ruler's odd, if I follow. And who is the you guys? Also, thanks. Not in it yet, but thinking about it, lols. Oh, that was Queen Bee. Was thinking about it. Well, there's a trade for you, Queen Bee, a legend. Happy to help. Good song. What song? Go for it, PogChamp. What? This is a secret ingredient. Mayo. I don't know, tryhard. Well, that's not very helpful, is it? 8-Ball, where is the secret ingredient? Where is it? Anybody like SLGG? Plenty do. Oh, very tasty. Stefan S. Any chance Clove is trending up? Says that a do fiend. Do you have MMAT today already? Have I done it today already? No, I've not done it today at all. I've not even looked at it. What is it doing, actually? And I'll come back to those other ones if I can remember in some second time, whatever. I was also going to do AMC. I was going to actually look at it there. Did we not draw a long and short position potentially for this? I think we should have. I definitely wanted to. Where is it? I drew a long short entry for this. Well, I would have then known where it was at yesterday and whatnot. Well, I drew this line around here. Does that maybe it collapse below them? This is lower. No, I didn't. Drew a line to signify an uptrend, and I talked about, this was about the RSI I was talking about here. That wasn't in the 1 hour. Where was it? 15 minute? No, this is all today. That was yesterday we were talking about. No, wait a minute. I can't remember. Where was it we were talking about? This potential divergence or something? There was something on here and it was saying it was a buy. And what Fibonacci level is that on this? Oh, I should have remembered. It was only yesterday. This is a 0.5, right? And this is 618, and that's what you're looking at. Really cool. Drawing horizontal lines along here. Why haven't I done this already? That would be an amazing entry down there. I don't know if you're going to get that. Why don't know if you're going to get that here. 4 hour. I see. I see. So we're putting in this low. The previous low was here. In that formation, that's not really low. There's the actual low. There's the low. It's not as low as that yet. Anywhere near it, obviously. And it's made that retrace down to this 0.5 and beyond it. And so that's like a buy there if you get in between now and the 618. The 618 would be a deal. Let's draw that on and see where this might go. Well, for the 618 go, I mean, the simple trade there is, so there's two trades on this that you could take. This isn't financial advice. Right, it's from that entry that we looked at, and the first one is to here, right? And your stop loss on that's quite clear because there's a previous bit of mail below here. Now you'd have to factor in that there might be wicks, so like you play it by, you take it the way you want to, but there's like a small trade, it's 10-to-1 risk reward ratio. You try and tell me that doesn't fit into your trading strategy, and I'll show you a trading strategy which is fucking shit, right? Sorry. And then, jeez, what's wrong with me? And then, Like, let's say like you're like Billy Big Pockets, right? And you're like, well, I'll take it from here, but I can afford a greater stop loss, right down to here, and my targets are actually way higher. They're up at the 618, the 1618 extension of that other Fibonacci, perhaps. Let's see, where's that coming at? Well, that's the 214. There's a 1618 would be that just. So that'd be like maybe a take profit area if you're trading this. I'll make that green, right, so that people know what it is. And then, but actually you'd want this trade to go on beyond there, and you'd want to be following on with this sequence of higher. Let's go on the daily and see what it gets back. What are we looking at here? This is MMAT still, yeah. Right, so you're looking back and see, but obviously you've got other areas where there might be things coming in at. There, maybe you're taking profit at those levels. Maybe you're like really scared and you're taking profits like these sort of levels. So it's perfectly acceptable too, but I think that that's a buy, to be honest. I don't think that it's like, so I'm just going to remove that. Anyway, so that's like those levels above you. You might consider taking profit, and then really not been around for all that long, this, right? 10 years. Not enough to worry about any previous highs as being important. There's double bottom there. Also divergent. Volume it's went crazy. This was the merger, whatever, something. Or was it used to be torch or that? Was that what this was? Anyway, that's that trade, and actually you'd be looking at the 2618 and beyond on that thing. Like, if they're holding this for a while, which you quite easily could be, you've got your shitty little trade there. You've got this one that you could take profits from it at various targets, and it would still work out as, 4.75 to 1, right? That's very, very manageable. But it may well be that you'd only take some profits there, and you take this right up to the 2618. That's up at $81, right? You might be doing that thing, and you might take it on further, right? You might hold that for a while afterwards. That might become the sort of thing you hold for a number of years, and you take profit on some of it, and then I don't know, right? You tell me. And if there's a big community out there doing that, that's 2 days in a row I've done tea on this thing. If you make a clip of today's thing, put it in there. There's got long positions. Suggested trades, not financial advice, but if anyone wants to make a clip of this, somebody will like it, I'm sure. Maybe I could get round to it, but that's not likely to happen. My time I spend most of it on GME, and so if you're interested in this, you'll also probably like GME. So there you go. Right, there's 2 positions. There's reasonable stuff on it. Like, not saying reasonable for any reasonable sense. It's not fucking reasonable, is it? It's like, what's my top target up there? It's like 10x or something. So yeah. Giving you some stop losses and everything. What more could a person ask for? I'll close that over, and I'm going to take a break now and have another cup of tea. How does that sound? Does everybody, 263 people, we're not breaking any records in chat, that's for sure. Well, what's the chat rate? 0 out of 20. How can it be 0? That's not true. People not saying things. Are people not saying things? Bum 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 bum. I don't know how much those things matter. Do they even matter at all? I'm sure they do. The chat rate will be indicative of something. 0 out of, I don't know what it could be, but I think that means that people aren't talking very often. I don't know if that makes any difference or not. Playbacks 3662 of 256. So I think we've gone through most of the people who are going to watch it. Watch the concurrent viewers numbers. What's that? That's that one. Okay, cool. That's all that is. Okay, everything good, and the merchandise is what's gonna make it the funnest thing to look back on. Is like the pictures of everybody in their thing. So if you've bought anything, please do send a picture of it anytime if you feel okay with me using it. Jamie, have you read Rosie Stevenson's poem The Gardener? Did I ever tell you about how much Coco likes gardening? I think I might have talked about that at the odd time. That's a good question. I wonder if Streamlabs, what's it called? Cloudbot. I wonder if Cloudbot knows more about that. That's not possible. What's not possible? Tea's good. Tea's really good. We're all talking to Streamlabs. Oh, right, that's how it's working. Yeah, because they chats don't show up on the other thing too, because I've had to take it out, so that's cool. Merch. Does I have merch there? I don't know. There may be a cup. I don't know. Sounds like they're calling us out for not being hype in chat. Yeah, they are. They're definitely calling out. Support Tradespotting in real life by purchasing some merch. All merch purchases include an alert. Streamlabs.com/Tradespotting. Is there any merch there though? There may be a cup, but I'm not sure. We're here, bro. Good one. Yours are there. Dave, solid ones among you. There you go. Die another Dave. There you go. Die another Dave. What's happening? What's there? What is this? People talking to each other. Unreasonable T-shirt would tempt me to the Unreasonable shop. Yeah, it's quite tempting, isn't it? An Unreasonable T-shirt would tempt anyone to the Unreasonable shop. But don't go there. As it's past 1 p.m. here in the United States, perhaps some people have a day job and it sometimes requires they pay attention. Do not take it personally as the crowd ebbs and such. Cheers. Yes, totally. I completely agree. People have to go do the job, and they have to help the man. They have to help the man, work for the man, be good to the man, so that the man will give them their potatoes, and so that the man will let them have shelter over their heads. Everyone has to respect the man and all of his power. We should be nice to the man. Fuck the man. But yeah, people have to do what they've got to do. They've got responsibilities, families to take care of, and responsibilities, like I say. So yeah, don't worry. I still love you if you have to go to work. And I don't take it personally that you don't tune in. It's the people that I don't yet know about me that are missing out that would enjoy it. That's the continual frustration when you're banned from certain areas or you know your audience is. Support Tradespotting. Yeah, support me in real life. Yeah. Screw you, Streamlabs, asking for help. That's not the style around here. On phone with tech sales scammer. They never stop. I'm very, very good at wasting their time. Yeah, Andy, you know what it's like. You can also, if you get two of them, you can just put the phones together or get phone the Chinese takeaway and get them and put them together. And that usually results in the odd laugh. What's some good tickers to watch these next few weeks, Jamie? Oh, well, Rolls Royce, Naked, obviously KOSS. This Matt looks alright-ish. The next few weeks, though, GME's pretty good. If you heard of it, GME, some AMC, and then more GME. They're the two ones that I'll be paying a lot of attention to. Mostly GME, and then what else? I don't know. Right, paying attention to. You're looking at ups and downs. NUGT. It's interesting. That might be interesting over the next couple of days, the next week. NUGT. What's it doing today as it happens? Just out of interest. What's up here? Here's your inverted head and shoulders. There's your line through it. That tends to work. There's your retrace here. Let's see how that goes. Let's go down again. That would start breaking it. That's lower. Oh, nope. That's hugely bullishly divergent here. Oops again. Anonymous, but a comfort t-shirt. Oh, the comfort one. You got the comfort t-shirt. Good choice, Anonymous. Good choice, Anonymous. Right, here's the 1414 on that XABCD pattern. So, if you get that again, that would be an amazing trade, because then you'd be looking at 1414s on this. So this is terrible at the minute, and you wouldn't want to be investing it if it's going to go down, because it'd be a fucking nightmare. But the trade you're looking at on this, jeepers, Jamie. If it does get there, well, look, it's already in. How did that happen? That and your. This is not financial advice, right? And I definitely don't recommend trading this thing at the minute. Because it could go either way, and who needs it? And look at the state of that. Oops. Why would anyone trade like that? I don't know how that came up, right? Yep. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Nobody wants to see this. Why are you even talking about this, Jamie? Literally no one has ever asked you about this, and you've only ever had to explain what it is every time it's come up, so just don't ask me. I don't know why I'm doing it. You're not going to get that much of a retrace after this bullish divergence that this put in here. You're probably likely to get it like there, and that's it. So I would draw that in as a speculative trade just to see how it's going. Not because this is so volatile, it's crazy. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. You're going to do it. So you get a retrace to the X only. There's potential it goes down to the D, right? The 1414 will be coming on this type of pattern at this type of move, especially if you're looking into some sort of like Gartley there. And then you'll be saying, well, you could say this looks like it could have a bullish flip and go with that trade, and then we'll say that's lost and we're going to the D if it breaks. Why is everything moving? Didn't mean to move everything. Going to the D if it breaks, so you get a really tight stop loss on that one. Whoop up up see the 1272, yeah, that would be like go beyond there, and then it's going to 1414. Right, so there's a potential trade, right? I don't know if you're going to get that entry. We'll see though. If anyone's trading these, like there's a stupid ass trade, right? You're obviously going to want to be taking profits in various areas. That's always not going to be there by the time you get there, right? And on the weeklies, we'll drop down and see where these things actually matter. That was on the weeklies, also that high on the daily, so just tweak that, put it in, that's perfect. And then ahead of that you want to be taking profits there, and then that's at the top of your move. Also you've got like these areas, right? So if I moved that trade again, looks like I have, and there's the entry. No, it's not moved. So let's see how that goes. Should put it over here so we can see when it opens. If I hold shift, does that make it go straight sideways? Yeah, it does. Awesome. So we'll see how that works out. And you don't need that massive volume panel there, do we? What's the time? It's 32, 16:32. I think it's 32. It could have been 22. Didn't get a proper look at it. And where's this panel at? There it is. So that video will be out. The premiere of the TA summary for today will have been out. People hopefully have seen it, and let's see what happened. I'm sure it'll got a dislike. I've scheduled this before I went to sleep last night, and I'd literally scheduled it for about 60 seconds and I'd already got a dislike. So there's someone out there who's like paying attention to notifications and then disliking stuff straight away. It's just like weird. People are super weird. And so yeah, we've all talked about that. That looks quite nice. See that happening, right? So that's an answer to a question I was never asked. I'm so hungry, I'm going to eat something and take a break. I could leave the stream on, or I could go somewhere else. What's Rocky doing at the minute? If Rocky's streaming, then I could just like say you can watch Rocky and then come back to me later for market close if you like. Is Rocky Tradespotting? That's my channel. There's Rocky, he's live. What's he talking about? Is he live or is that any videos? This is live, he is live. 69 watching only. Jeez, that is a crime. Skip it to 8. So there's Rocky, and I don't want to put the pressure on him. What's he covering? GameStop, you know, a lot of people like that, and he's interested in that. So go over there and check out Rocky. I'm going to finish this video now and come back in a couple of hours for the end of the day. Well, it won't be a couple of hours. It'll be in like an hour and a half or something. When's power hour in my time? It's like 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, I think. I'll be back 8 o'clock my time. How long is that away? An hour and a half. I'll be back in an hour and a half. And in the meantime, I'll be in Rocky's chat, chatting to him, and then I'll be back. So, thanks for everybody who made the little donations. It all adds up. Thanks very much. And for those people who did bought the merchandise, wow, thanks so much. Please send me photos of it. Still haven't got my own. Still annoying. but at some point I will, and I would really like to see how those fanny packs be looking. And you can also obviously feature in the top left of the screen here if you let me use your photographs. That's what I'd like to do. If I had a big empty black space on the chart the whole time, I could have filled in with my charts. No, this is Rocky's video I've got in the background now. Yeah, see that? Silly me. I was like, well, I've got gaps, but I don't have gaps. And it like this, and what does that look like? Yeah, there is a gap. Oh, I'm so silly. But yeah, you see, you got to see the ticker, and then the price didn't quite work there. Ah, that's funny. It's a little bit sometimes, obviously. But it works nice for GME, doesn't it? It does. GME 210 clean. 210 clean. Been here before. Ring. What does that mean? Where did that come up? What was that? Oh, it's another t-shirt. Wolfric Doomslayer bought a classic tee. Are you not entertained? Yeah. Fucking right, man. Are people not entertained? I don't know how you make technical analysis, which I'm trying to keep as fucking scientific as possible. Also entertaining at the same time as being passionate about the things I care about. I don't know. Maybe there's other things I can do. There probably is. But until then, see you in an hour and a half. Well, some of you, maybe more people, because there's quite a low number of people watching. So, see you in an hour and maybe I'm saying shit before you are seeing it on screen, and that makes it weird for everybody. I don't know. Probably I'm. No, I don't know, because then I'm watching it back, and at that point you're hearing what I'm saying at that time. Yes, Jamie. Wow, I am so stupid. Thanks, everybody. You're all the best, and I'm here for you, and you keep showing up for me. If you can bring your like granny and sister around for the market close, then maybe we'll get some decent viewership numbers in. Hit like, please. Hit like, and tell your friends. Tell them. Tell them. Tell your friends. Tell them how great it is. Tell them. Wow, he's so great. He does the price action. You can tell it's amazing. You have to check it. And also, wow, listen to his voice and accent. Oh, it's so beautiful. And whoa, look into his eyes and eyes. And then just do what he says. Buy and hold. Buy and hold. Buy and hold. Buy and hold.